Boy, oh boy, what a matchup we have in store for you guys tonight on the Risen Divine Week 3 slate of the playoffs. I'm Slayer, that's Goferino, getting a little bit of extra magic onto the analyst desk tonight for a pretty big-time matchup between two teams, Goferino, I didn't think would be in this position heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the two top teams here from group number one, and now they're fighting for their lives here in round two of the losers bracket. They still got a long way to go if they do want to get to finals, but they're going to have to win tonight and send home arguably definitely one of the tournament favorites coming into this entire season, or at least coming into playoffs.
It's pretty insane to think that both these teams are out here. Just for a bit of a catch-up, it is University of Michigan, the third overall seed in the entirety, actually, sorry, the number 2 seed in the entirety of these playoffs, going up against UCI Esports, their JV squad, the number 1 seed as well. Both of them dropped in the losers bracket, and it's interesting because UCI Esports JV, they dropped their first game. They lost the 1-8 matchup to a Forgotten Kingdom, a team who is now in the winners bracket finals with a chance to go to the grand finals. And University of Michigan ran into the powerhouse. It was Team Ambition Power 2-0'd them in the second round of the winners bracket to put them into this spot. And the craziest part, Goferino, is the matchup's certainly high stakes, but it seems like UCI Esports might be getting a bit of a boost on their roster going into this matchup as well.
Yeah, they're actually getting two pretty big subs coming in Gorica, the AD carry, and then Mike Young, who I believe was going top lane. I know we historically know Mike Young as the jungler. However, though, two pretty damn star players here, one even starting in the LCS, so some of our first LCS players here in Risen Divine.
It's insane to think that this is actually allowed. I mean, when it comes down to the rule book sense, I can confirm that University of Michigan has allowed these two guys and Mike Young. All the TSM old heads will remember the failed Mike Young project when he was in the LCS, and then Gorica is a really high level mid laner as well. So those two are going to slot in for UCI Esports JV, and it's going to just be fireworks. I mean, that's one way to reload your gun after a pretty tough loss in the first round of the winners bracket to take down a team, Goferino, like you mentioned, University of Michigan, one of those teams we thought could be in that grand finals.
Yeah, and I mean, they certainly had a hell of a run, but then Picky Eats just coming on in because, man. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong side of the bracket. Team Ambition Power, actually. Oh no, sorry. Wait, no, I was reading the bracket wrong. Sometimes we read things a little funny here, but either
It's
way
definitely a
around,
convoluted bracket.
it's not convoluted. I'm just reading poorly. But it happens. It happens.
Yeah, but so it was the Team Ambition Power side did knock down University of Michigan. Piggy Eats actually is also in the other losers bracket. They're taking on Glacial Esports Black right about now, and we're getting set to get this draft started. But we got to break down these teams a bit, and go for obviously we've gotten to watch a lot of these squads, both these squads, multiple points during the regular season. Who are you really looking for on both of these squads to stand up? I have a feeling I know who you might say for the UCI Esports, but what about this University of Michigan roster we thought wouldn't be in this position? Who are those standouts that you're going to look for in this big time matchup?
I mean, so I know Duan is a player from a University of Michigan that we do end up talking a lot in their matches. Um, that's gonna be my big University of Michigan player though. But I think the two big players are gonna be Gorka and Mike Young because two last minute subs that we definitely did not expect, and I know we've given them their due diligence so far, and we're definitely gonna give them more due diligence later tonight here, Slayer.
We certainly will be, and we're all getting set for that first draft. We'll throw it over to the casters in just a minute, but we got to make sure to get predictions out the board. I know everybody in Twitch chat will have their shot at predictions, especially game by game, but we're talking the best of three, the whole big picture, Go Freno. Do you think the additions of Mike Young and Gorka, is it enough for UCI Esports to continue on through this losers bracket, or do you got Duwan and University of Michigan making a bit of, I guess, an upset pick now?
I'm definitely leaning towards UCI. I mean, as admins were explaining, like, yeah, so these players are over 600 LP Challenger, which is usually a little out of the rules here, but it has been allowed tonight because the University of Michigan has agreed to it. So, gonna be leaning towards those two power players, but I'm all one for an upset here. And I mean, there's a reason why University of Michigan was also another powerhouse coming into this. So, they're not gonna go down without a fight.
It sounds like you're going 2-1 UCI Esports. I feel like if the all right 2-1, I'm with you on that, Go Farina. We're gonna stand united like the Shen Ultimate on this analyst desk. I will also be going 2-1 for UCI Esports. A lot of the same reasons Go Farina listed there, but I'm gonna throw a little bit of extra flavor there. My brother actually does attend UCI, and I know he's watching, and I know he'll get mad at me if I don't pick UCI Esports to go forward. So I'm gonna be a bit of a homer here, and I'm gonna make him proud. I'll say UCI Esports 2-1 over University of Michigan. But enough with our predictions. Enough with us on the analyst desk. The draft is live right now, so let's throw it over to our two stylish casters, Lum and Bonfire. Take us away with Game One draft.
No bikini bottom this week, Leo, but thank you very much. I see him giggling, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the game tonight. Divine alongside me. Look, we've actually been flipped. I am now Bonfire, and that is Lamb over there. How's it going, Lamb? What are we saying tonight? We excited?
I don't know if I can do the Lam accent, so I'll have to talk in my silly American accent. But I do feel like right now this feels like the Lam before the storm. It feels like we got
Ooh.
something coming. I like, I see that you like that. This should be a fantastic matchup. I wasn't expecting to see these two clash until maybe the very end, but we've been treated to something pretty amazing. A 1-3 bout in the losers bracket. I'm just sad thinking about that this is the last match we're going to be seeing for some of these five players because the one who loses is out for good. That's it. No more. No mas.
Well, it's one and done. Actually, it's three and done. Our best of three is going to happen tonight. We're in the picks and bans already, and like Gofrino already made reference to, we're treated to something a little bit more special. Mike Young coming in. How's that Team Liquid flag on Bonfire's screen right now? Sitting for you, Mr. Mike Young. I know he's probably got something to say about it, but meanwhile, we're going to pay attention to the picks and bans here. There's been such a development over the course of the meta this season, Bonfire. How do we rate what's actually going to be prioritized? Because it's always a coin flip. We went from the Ash, the Varus meta. We went from even the J4 in the jungle across solo queue right now, 54% win rate. Such a strong pick as well. Where do you prioritize for both of these organizations? Because like you already mentioned, one of them has to lose tonight and we're not going to see them again.
Yeah, I think this is actually some of the more fun meta that I've seen in a while. Both teams able to feels like they're able to stretch their legs a little bit, and I think that there is still a very high prioritization an emphasis on the AD carry role, and I fully expect Michigan to first pick an AD carry. But again, it's really their choice what they want to go. I've seen Dravens, a lot of Zayas, but you can honestly go Jinx. You can go. There's just so many different routes and avenues that you can go. And then you talked about that Ashe, that Varus. That's still seeing a lot of play at high levels. You just kind of need to get the comp around it. So if you ask me, I'm not really sure because I think the meta is allowing for more than 30 or so picks. I think this is a more freeing meta. I will say the two champions that won't be free are going to be Udyr and LeBlanc. And if you're confused about the bans for UCI, I'm going to wait for confirmation, but I'm going to throw it out that I think they have to forfeit them because of their movement of their players.
Yeah, I probably have to agree with my colleague here that that's going to be the result of UCI, but they shouldn't be phased by that if they're confident enough in bringing these individuals in. It's a big stepping point for UCI here as well. So we'll see if they can actually transition that into the win. And remember, folks, that a Forgotten Kingdom, they stepped up the game as well, and they're going to meet Team Ambition in the other semifinals that's going to go on. But for the University of Michigan, they find themselves against UCI here. So we'll see what they're actually going to prioritize. That third and final ban going to be Yumi on the side of University of Michigan, taking that one away with the recently changes that go through with that bonfire. Final chapter, it doesn't root, but it certainly does heal. And they're already hovering that virus. It's going to be locked in. You got it right on the spot there.
I'm good, aren't I? I'm damn good. I saw you, by the way, kind of looking over. You're like a peeping Lom trying to get these picks early. But we got it, Varus. We're both pretty good on that. I think we got to go duo on that because I heard it from you, and you're so cool. So I figured I'd tag along.
It's a
The
team effort.
Aphelios, it's
It's a
a
team
team. You know
effort.
what? You said
Yep.
colleagues. I gotta agree with that. The Aphelios as a counter pick is interesting though because I think Aphelios is one of the weaker top 80 carries that you can pick. It's not complete int to grab, but you tend to think more Zaya, Jinx, that kind of thing. I do think it's a fantastic team fighter, one of the best you can have. It just needs that peel, so I would expect to see a Thresh or something that can kind of stick beside it, because if the Aphelios gets blown up, that is a huge point of concern for UCI in these team fights.
Oh, early game jungle are going to be picked up as well. Wukong, you could say that arguably he's not a champion until that Divine Sunder is going to be completed on him. But the reactivation of the Cyclone has the ability to narrow onto the Virus, make it a consistent thing to get the AD carry out of the game. Virus, very immobile. Chains of Corruption going to help him out for a little bit, but he needs a little bit more peel. Both of these AD carries as well. Aphelios, you already made reference to. Bonfire is such a good pick right now. This champion just rips through a lot
Ooh.
of everything people have to offer. The threat's going to be locked in here. Seen ascendancy since the changes, and that's a pretty strong bot lane from the University of Michigan here.
Yeah, and they stole away the Thresh from the Aphelios. I feel like that's a combination you see quite a bit because of the Lantern. It gives Aphelios that little bit of a cushion. It's not a hard landing. It's kind of a soft, pillowy fall. But now he's breaking maybe an elbow, scraping a shin. He needs a little bit of comfort beside him. And so, I mean, I feel like UCI is in a bit of a difficult position. The Maokai as well. I mean, it's kind of just get down, Mr. President from Michigan. This Varus has so much priority on it, and they're helping their friends out. You kind of love to see that.
Well, you definitely could fool Joe Biden with that one. That's a perspective here. We're not
Oh.
political in any aspect of that. Blitzcrank going to be locked in for UCI here. That's an interesting pick going into the Thresh here. Dark Passage is a thing, but also is a Blitzcrank silence.
Yeah, I think that it's not really helping the Aphelios in terms of, ensuring that he's not getting picked. And I feel like at this point, with all of these picks going towards more get at him type of champions, I feel like this Aphelios has to be like Lam Cruz. He does his own stunts. He needs to do everything by himself. And so I do think that's a point of concern. But it's also kind of it's a shot call. If he's able to do it, if this Aphelios is able to get ahead and, is able to carry in these team fights and doesn't need help beside him, that frees up the other four champions to get picks. I do like the Blitzcrank early game, and now the Varus and the Thresh need to play a lot safer, where I think if there wasn't a Blitzcrank, they would just kind of be continuously pushing, because it is a pretty powerful early game bot grab from Michigan.
It's got to be respected, that's for sure. That rocket grab very early on in the game can be the game decider when you come to the caliber of the talent that we have in Divine, regardless or not of the standings that they are right now. Second phase of the bands going through. Swing going to be the sole focus from University of Michigan. Of course, the bands are still going to be skipped by UCI. So again, the Makai, big question is what building path is that going to go? We've seen the phase rush. Tank Makai, not really a thing, but I've seen it come through. And with the way that this is setting up, it's not so bad right now, depending on what they want to actually take into that top lane, what they want to take into the mid lane as well. There's still a lot that can round off the draft at University of Michigan here, but UCI's composition is almost an instant burst. Wukong can follow up that Blitzcrank. The Aphelios as well. If the guns are ready, if we've got those shurikens waiting for whoever is going to eat that hook, then it's going to spell good things for the bot lane and certainly for the team going forward in this one as we actually reach. That's going to be the fifth and final ban. It's going to be the victor taken away. Control mage or not, it's going to be taken away in that mid lane.
Yeah, Felios is a true red-blooded American. He's got like 6 weapons on his back at all points in time. A little bit of yeehaw from him. But on the other side of things, you talked about Maokai top. You can also flex it in the jungle. I feel like the roots really dig deep across Summoner's Rift. There's a lot of different places you could see it. And so I do think UCI has some question marks because, are you expecting to see a Maokai top? And so instead, they want to pick up the Orianna and really give their top laner that counter pick. Meanwhile, for Michigan, they've put themselves in a really fantastic spot with this pick. I really like the way that they're playing it. UCI, it feels like there's not a lot of nuance to their dance. They're just slamming their head into the wall, and I mean they could break it honestly with that comp, with all of the power behind it. For Michigan, I feel like it's a bit more of
Oh,
a
wow.
tango, and the Vagar, he likes to dance. He likes to dance with evil, but he still likes to dance.
He does, and he scales into infinity as well. So Vega are going to be locked in to round off the composition at University of Michigan. They have that Fiora, so that option of the 4-1 even. Yeah, maybe the 4-1, 1-3-1 with Vagar doesn't really work that well, but you got to change the corruption, followed up with the Maokai element, followed up with the cage from Vagar as well, and then Fiora can be on an island of herself. What is the answer going to be from UCI? It's going to be the Sejani.
Ooh.
Wow, this is a very unconventional team composition. It's a little bit of a throwback. Teleport Ignite going up to the top lane. I mean, you have to take the Ignite if you're going against the Fiora.
Yeah, I think you have to. And you talked about the CC. The parry's so prevalent for Fiora against any CC in the top side. Sejuani's like 90% CC. And so you have to be careful of the parry. I think UCI, this whole team comp for me is just screaming. Once we get on top of you, you might as well go take a pee break because you are done. Donezo. You're dead. It's over. And I feel like for Michigan, it's as long as we're able to dodge the hook and the ball, and none of us get picked early on, we're able to maybe burn a couple of ultimates, we win heavy and we scale heavy. So I think both of them have a way that they want to win this game. The question mark is which style is better, and it also comes down to the execution of their specific styles.
Absolutely does. Execution is very pivotal when it comes to any team composition. Now, Sejani, it's important to note that the permafrost is only activated by melee champions. So Orianna not going to have a say in that one. Wukong is going to accelerate that. Remember that Q on Wukong is a auto attack reset as well. That crushing blow can come out to try and stack it a little bit faster. So going up to the top lane going to be very enticing for the jungler of UCI. So again, this is going to be a battle of the ages here. I mean, we see 5 forfeited bans from UCI. University of Michigan, they abide by that. They're prepared. They're going to take the bans away. I mean, I would have loved to seen a standoff here, John Wayne style or not, Clint Eastwood. name your cowboy here. But regardless, their team composition very strong here. Bonfire, because you're the color caster, because you're the big brain on the desk today, I'm going to get your prediction first. Based off these team compositions, who's going to take game 1?
Well, I think UCI, if we're just going off of their compositions, they bring the LOM.com, right? They've got the burst ability. They can blow anybody they want the hell out of the water. But I do prefer a little bit of the nuance from Michigan. However, not all of us are created equal, as much as the Constitution would like to tell us. So there are some players who simply are a bit better, and I do feel like I gotta go with what GoForino and Slayer were saying. UCI have brought a bazooka to a water gun fight. It's just simply not fair. I expect Mike Young and the rest of his comrades to do very well. And even though I don't love their comp, I just don't think it's gonna matter. So I've got UCI in terms of their players. I love Michigan's comp. I just don't know if it'll be enough.
All right, UCI, gonna be my colleague's pick here. I'm gonna side with them as well. I don't want to be the one that's wrong in this one. But to find out, again, a little bit more breakdown, we got bigger brains on the analyst desk. Mr. Leo, Mr. GoForino, take it from here.
Look at that, Lom and Bonfire. You know, he even a callback to the Bikini Bottom. I will never forget. This guy's make a SpongeBob reference every time we're on the desk together. But enough about Bikini Bottom, GoForino. We are through the draft. We have a pretty good indication at what both these squads are going to look at. And what a surprise. The first thing I want to ask you, we talked about, you said Mike Young, he's not playing jungle, he's playing top lane. Of course he locks in Sejuani to play top. A champion, he's comfortable on, regardless which one of those lanes he's playing. Oh, yeah, you gotta unmute, GoForino. I did not hear any of that.
Oops, we always forget about that. But yeah, it's a very familiar champion if you play jungle and happen to swap to top lane. But there's a slight issue because you are against a Fiora. Yes, you do have lots of forms of CC, and there is only one riposte, but that Fiora is going to outscale you, is going to be able to outsplit push you, and you're just going to be a walking little vital sack of health come the late game. So might be a little bit of an issue here for Mike Young in that top lane if they're not able to stop.
Yeah, certainly could be a very big wrecking ball. I mean, I think that's something Lom and Bonfire highlighted very, very well, is the fact that University of Michigan are just a scaling death trap in this game, especially if we potentially see Tay take that Varus, maybe the more on-hit lethal tempo kind of build that scales up better compared to your lethality counterpart. It's a really nice comp put together. I think the Fiora is a great thing to hammer. And I guess we're seeing why University of Michigan maybe agreed to this substitution, GoForino. I've rarely seen all 5 bans be taken away from a team. And I think the indication is it's going to be all series long as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's all series long because these were pretty last-minute substitutions. And technically, these players aren't allowed to play in Divine, or at least on this current team, because there's like rule books about caps and whatnot. However, though, we'll see if you can overcome those 5 bans here with that extra elo on your team. I know we've been talking about that a lot, but from a pure comp perspective, I am liking you, Michigan, here more. Because you have the strong identity, you have the Fiora split push angle in the top lane, but then the rest of your comp is just very well geared to deal with shoving out waves if it is this lethality Varus. And you have that pick angle. If you're able to land some form of CC, you're probably going to blow up whoever gets hit by it.
Yeah, it's a really good 1-2 punch. This team can play as 4 really, really well from the Wolverines. And something I also want to, ask you about as we break down these comps. I want to go to the bottom lane selections here for UCI because I don't know how often I've seen Blitzcrank and Aphelios play together. I feel like their ideals in the bottom lane, at least early game, clash heavily.
Yeah, I know the Blitzcrank is been historically often picked as a counter pick to the Thresh because Thresh Death Sentence has a long windup time compared to Rocket Grab, so you're able to just hook that Thresh on in very easily, and Thresh is a very squishy champion. Not as much of a dynamic we see nowadays, because you see Blitzcrank picked more often outside of this matchup. But it's paired with Aphelios, like you said, who can have some burst potential, but you really want to have that Moonlight Vigil in order to complement this Blitzcrank's burst, because, you have like 1 ability pre-6, and then once you hit 6, you have 2 abilities.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough road to get out there. I would assume that we're going to see Hina-chan Lover move around the map a lot, high-level Blitzcrank play, and we are at pretty gosh darn high level with the Divine League. We'll be trying to move around and create plays across the lane. But someone we really talked about a lot in the pre-show here before we went through the draft for University of Michigan has been Duwan. He's been a standout, feels like, all season long. And it's interesting to see him pick up the Maokai. I feel like he's a couple patches too late to that jungle pick.
Yeah. I've still seen some Maokai picks. Like, it isn't like it hasn't been nerfed into oblivion. Like, it's been really nerfed. There's a reason why you don't really see it picked much at all in pro, but it is still very pickable. You can go for the utility build, you can go for the AP build, kind of, and you still, the AP build really does require you to get ahead, but the tank build is still pretty decent. You just are suffering quite a bit from all the nerfs you did take. And it still is great utility. It's great for this composition because it's like, if you hit someone with a Nature's Grasp here, that's a very easy follow-up from a Death Sentence, from a Chains of Corruption, from the Event Horizon here. And then you're able to follow it up with Burst from your AD carry and mid-roll.
You know, something interesting we've just been privy to, shout out Caddy, as always, running the production for Divine. Go Farino, it is not Sejuani top. It is Wukong top. So, I mean, the same logic still applies with Mike Young playing top lane. I mean, that's still a jungle pick, but it changes the dynamic of that lane a lot. I'm curious, you know, how that shifts in your mindset. Obviously, Fiora still outscales, but maybe a lot more bloodthirsty lane now set for the top lane.
You're at least not a walking, like, meatball to steal health off in the late game. You have potential to go 1v1. And you do get a very ridiculous amount of armor in combat, which is handy against the Fiora in those extended trades. And if you're quick, you can Cyclone the Fiora before she's able to riposte, since you just do it out of stealth. It is a little bit tricky here, and you have to really burst down the Fiora before she's able to get a lot of vitals on you, but it is definitely doable, and it's not the most insane thing to do from my experience.
And if we're talking about, you know, mechanically adept players, Mike Young has at least shown that through his pro career that he is very mechanically adept, and we'll see how he utilizes the clones to set up the Cyclones in that matchup. Now, as we're running down with that spectator delay, soon to get back on Summoner's Rift, we obviously understand University of Michigan's their win con, right? They can play the split pusher with Fiora. They're comfortable scaling up. They can play as 4 as well with that amazing execution on some of these CC abilities to get the burst down like you talked about. But go for it. I'm going to ask you the tough question. If you're UCI, what do they have to do once we hit Summoner's Rift to come out victorious in this matchup that we're all predicting is kind of a draft diff towards the Wolverines?
So UCI's composition, you have a Orianna and Aphelios, two very hard scaling champions. Especially once you hit like 2 or 3 items, you can really just blow people up as Orianna, and Aphelios will just be able to kill everyone on the enemy team. So for UCI, it's definitely going to be a matter of either accelerating their carries or just making sure the game stalls out a little so your carries reach their strong point here for Meat Slayer. And you have tools to accelerate the game. I mean, you have Blitzcrank, you have Sejuani, you have Wukong too, if there is a bit of roaming coming on through. So UCI has tools, and even though a lot of us are kind of considering their comp is probably not as holistic as University of Michigan's, by no means are they out of this just purely from champion select alone.
I mean, that's half the battle, right? I feel like, you know, sometimes people put a little bit too much stock in draft, but at the end of the day, what matters most is the execution, right? It's like 25% of the battle, in a way, can be the draft. The execution takes over the next 75%. Now, I want to go a little more big picture here, Gofrino, as we are still getting set to get into game. How important do you feel it is in such a hype matchup? Winner goes home, 2 teams that thought would face each other in grand finals, now in the losers bracket facing off. How important is it to start right foot forward, get this game won for both of these teams?
I mean, it's always a trendsetter in this series because game number 1 is the fresh face, and games 2 and 3 are always much more reactive in nature. You'll see like the counter strategies come out, you'll see the counter bans come out. So it is always great to have that first foot forward in these series, because when you're on the back rope, if you're up 1-0 in a series, it means you got that extra bit of wiggle room.
Certainly do give you that extra bit of wiggle room, but there is no more wiggle room for us on the analyst desk. We are ready, Summoner's Rift side, so without further ado, let's go back to that familiar battleground with Lam and Bonfire. Game 1, University of Michigan, UCI Esports JV. Let's get it.
Thank you, Golferino, Mr. Slayer. Appreciate you over there on the analyst desk, the big brains of the community, that's for sure. Divine is in action. Best of 3 happening right here, right now. And Bonfire, we already had our predictions. Will it just be the name gap, or are we going to see a composition gap in this one? Is seen
Oh, no.
Hina-chan.
Oh,
Odessinus
hold on.
doesn't land. It's going to drop the cage right there from the Veigar. Blitzcrank go low, burning with the Ignite. Following it back up. The squad is here. It's going to be first blood over to
Oh my
Orc.
goodness.
Is up there in the top lane. Sejani has to use a flash as well. Mike Young hightailing it. That's going to be a powerful level 1 for the University of Michigan. They get first blood in this game on this split pusher.
Yeah? Oh my god, Gorica. I was gonna say he just somehow missed both of them on vision, but he's able to stop one back. And it just comes down to Hina-chan Lover just needed to hit a hook, but he could not pick from all of the targets. I think they played the vision perfectly right there. Hiding in the bushes, waiting, stalk their prey. Rengar incarnate for the side of Michigan. They're Wolverines outside of the server and inside, and they end up grabbing that first blood. It's an all-important one, and it went into a pretty big target as well. Orus is on the Fiora. You're not mad at all about that.
Absolutely not. Descent is going to be eaten by the Blitzcrank. Walks that one away for now. Still in. Going to trade back with the rocket grab there. Ignite dropped. Gorica looking pretty aggressive in this level 1. Aphelios Blitzcrank going to be the interesting synergy on the Rift. 1v1 against Mike Young. Already set behind by that first blood. Going over to the Fiora in this game and wins that trade in the top lane as well. Eyes are going to be on that jungle though, Bonfire.
I know.
Sejani and Makai, they're starting on the same side of the map right now.
I was about to say I was expecting a monkey in the jungle, you know, swinging from his vines, possibly trying to do something with that. But instead, he's going to be in the top side. Maybe the staff is more important than his grippy little monkey fingers. I don't know monkeys very well. It's been a while since I've been to the zoo, so this reference is falling flat. But you kind of understand where I'm going with this. But at the end of the day, they think that Mike Young would be better suited with the monkey, with the Wukong, and it's going to be Glorious on that Sejuani in the jungle. And I feel like a lot of the onus is on Glorious to get something going. Tay is already roaming mid lane.
Oh, I believe Thresh just showed there as well. Flash
Good
has to be burned from Debonair to get away from that one. The early roam from the bot lane of University of Michigan showing they want to put a stamp on this early game.
Yeah, I feel like they're noticing that Glorious on the Aphelios doesn't really get activated until you're at least level 3, and even then you're not really much of a champion until you're level 6, a very late scaler, and so they know that they can get the push in. There's not concerns that they're going to lose a wave or anything of that sort because of it, and then look, they go bot, they're able to grab their waves, easy peasy, they get Debonar's flash, all the day's work for the mighty duo of Michigan Esports bot lane. They're like superheroes. Now, they can't get hooked here, and indeed they don't, because that would have made me a really bad caster curse. But I like that play quite a bit from them.
Well, Tate underneath the turret, going to be able to farm up here. Makai is actually in the vicinity too. Glorious is going to be down here. Sejani looking to try and find out the Makai actually behind him right now. So will the plays come through? Makai going to show. It's going to be an engage going straight forward. Going to get Bramble smashed away. But the Thresh going to be the first to fall in that skirmish. UCI, they bounce back already in this game. 4 minutes in, 2 kills. That's not so bad, Bonfire. Hopefully, it's a staple of the match to come.
Yeah, this is, we've got some violence going on. Both of these teams are playing like their playoff hopes are on the line, and they are. So I love to see some early aggression. I think some teams can kind of turtle up when the big moment comes, but both of these guys, everybody in the server knows the assignment. They know what they have to do to ensure that they continue to play. And right now they're doing that. UCI with a counter punch in the bot side. Roman, their jungler there. And I think it goes to show that Duan and Glorious, a lot of the onus is on them to get something going. You know, the junglers have that aggression, they have that ability throughout the game, but especially the early game. And so early on, Glorious getting the better of Duan has to feel good.
And bot lane synergy is going to prove so important in this game as well. Dragons are such a focus in this early game that if you can get it right, then you can definitely spell good things for the team. Descendants goes wide. Gorica going to walk sideways to that one. Going to be re-engaged right now. Brought back in by the Blitzcrank. Tate burning. Gorica going to get the kill on the opposing AD carry. Soma hides behind the turret. That's going to be UCI getting back on the board, winning that 2v2.
It's just a hook battle between this Thresh and Hina-chan Lover on the Blitzcrank. Soma realizing that he is not the best hook champion on the map. I'm not going to call him a hooker. I thought of it for half a second, and I realized that as
whoa.
Exactly. So he's a hook champion. We'll just say that. But yeah, once the Thresh missed the hook there on the bot side, it was kind of doomed. This might not be doomed though.
Glorious, they're going to collapse on the top laner. Takes way too much damage.
Good carry.
Riposte comes
Oh.
late. Gets Aura sees right there. The Fiora drops.
He's not gonna get him.
Glorious gets the permafrost. Do one.
Oh,
one
no.
more. Mike Young says no. Shuts that door shut.
Oh, it's a disaster for Michigan. Oh, it looked so good right there, Lum. It looked so good for so long. But right now, Mike Young feels like he's in Llama the Dead at the moment, coming back from what felt like a surefire loss in the top side, and instead gets his jungler to help him out and gets the kills. And early on, Michigan were making things happen across the map, but at the moment, they look befuddled, confused. They don't know where to go. And they continuously have the numbers as well, so the reads haven't been that poor. They just don't have the damage, and it's costing them big to the tune of 1,500 gold.
Well, the unorthodox Wukong being taken to the top lane. Remember, RSA has actually secured first blood in this game, so already University of Michigan, those alarm bells are ringing. The Wukong back in the game, and someone as staple is the Wukong and Mike Young. Debonair, the Twisted Van's going to go through, served up on a platter. The Makai smash into the range. They surely donate this one over to the Veigar. There you go. Maximo's going to secure that one as well. Going to see a dive in the bot lane. It's going to be on Tate. That's going to be the teleport committed to try and save the life of the AD carry. Not going to matter. I feel it's going to secure that one. Soma goes back in, gets the kill on the opposing hook champion. Primordial burst seals the fate of Gorica. Glorious going forward. Soma walking away, peeling it back. Maximo still wants it. Going to walk away again. That's going to be action in the top lane. There's action all over Summoner's Rift, and Do1 says, I want a piece of this one. He doesn't get in range, walks away. Good flash coming through from the jungler of UCI.
And that's exactly what they needed to do, Lam. It was so important that they got those kills, and they got them in spades. It was 4-1 in kills for the side of UCI. It is now 5-4. A huge swing over for Michigan, and they stopped that snowball. The gold was starting to get a tiny bit out of hand, but they ensure that it's back in their favor. Actually, it's about even between these two teams, and so where UCI had picked off, they have to find the pieces and find the puzzle again. It feels like they had started to solve that puzzle, and then somebody just knocked over that table, and all the pieces are everywhere, and they're like, well, all of my hard work is now gone. And so they have to pick up the pieces. I always go corner pieces first when I'm doing a puzzle. I figure they'll probably do the same. It is smart, right? You build the outline, then you go in.
Yeah, that's very smart. I haven't done many jigsaws in my time. The puzzle's very difficult for Lamb, but regardless, that's why I have Bonfire. He's an expert. Do1 going to be engaged by Mike Young.
No.
Delivery system. That's better than Amazon Prime. Hina-chan lover delivering the death to Do1. Picks up the second death of the game.
Yeah, he's got same-day delivery. He paid the extra money so he can ensure that he got his tree in the mail on time. And indeed he did. And once you knock down Do1, that is a very important summoner down. Smite no longer there. I feel like Do1 just had no reason to be there. He had knowledge that they were roaming, and he saw across the map that they could have been taking it, but got a little bit greedy. Didn't have the rest of his team with him. Loses his life. And that is going to be the first Rift Herald. Pretty big money-making opportunity for UCI. Let's see if there's some entrepreneurs like you are, and they can convert on that initial investment.
Always very encouraging of entrepreneurs in this day and age. Let me tell you, Dragon will be started up by UCI, so the early game advantage that they have in terms of the kills right now, that gold lead is not anything special. 1,300 gold, just less than that in favor of UCI. They pick up the first Dragon objective of the game, and they'll definitely feel good about that. They have Felios, Blitzcrank, and Hina-chan lover just seems to be everywhere right now.
Oh yeah, he does. This Blitzcrank firing on all cylinders. Well-oiled machine at the moment. I think another huge part of this gold lead that we have to talk about is how Gorica is 3-1 at the moment with a 23 CS advantage on Tay. Feel like TT Tay not really doing what this Varus wants them to do, and that was the first pick as well. So they obviously put a lot of priority into that bot lane, but 0, 2, and 3 have not got the dividends. The return has been minimal, and Gorica right now is performing like I feel like all of us kind of expected him to.
Well, Bonfire, Tay definitely reminds me of an anti-hero.
Okay. John Wayne?
Don't get that reference. No, it's Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is Tay.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Yes, and this goes wide. Chains of Corruption actually go down from the virus there. Gorica.
Whoa.
Oh, that's going to be a kill over Hina-chan lover. Ignite ticking. Full duration. Gonna drop the thresh in that ball lane. Mike Young under threat up there in the top lane as well. Pierce Narrow tags up Gorica. Gets the guns back.
Beautiful.
Forward. Oh, Gorica styling fourth kill of the game. Cyclone going to be activated from Mike Young. Orises has to respect the damage, and he'll back off.
Give you another Taylor Swift reference. Tay, you're on your own, kid. There's no one else to help you out. You're 0-3-3, and you were drafted a comp to help you too. Soma on the thresh. You've got Duwon alongside that Maokai, or on that Maokai. You got the champions beside you, my friend. You just aren't able to convert in Gorica. Man, he's making this Aphelios sing right now. Every single gun feels like the knockout blow. 4-1-1 in the early game I talked about how Aphelios is a great scaling option, not nearly as good in my books as a Jinx or something of that sort, but Gorica right now is making this Aphelios look like every single solo queue game you go into. You're thinking, man, I have to ban Aphelios next game, and then they pick up a Jinx, and you're thinking, man, I need to ban Jinx this game. Gorica can make even the most, I don't want to call him a mid-champ because he's still very good, but even the maybe not S-tier champs look amazing.
Well, 40 CS lead for Gorica down in there in the AD carry role. 4,000 gold lead for UCI. They keep trying to pad the stats here, and then they're doing very well throughout the lanes. You can see they are winning everywhere except that top lane. Orises collecting that first blood in this game. Still very comfortable. They're going to rotate Gorica up here. He's got the shurikens as well. Gets stunned up a little bit. Grand challenge goes down. Will the challenge be accepted? Going to get flashed away. Deleting death sentence. Dark passage goes out as well. A little bit too late from the Fiora Debonair's here as well. Set up on a play. That's just a blitzcrank. There's no damage. Power play comes through from University of Michigan.
Gorica might be on the Aphelios, but I don't think Orises cares. I think he just saw a big pile of gold right there, and he saw his name on it. Right now, he needs to be very careful. Glorious does have ultimate, but does not care, and that's parry down.
Gloria still waiting in the wings. She's going to hold on to that glacial prison. Divine Sunder are completed for the Fiora, so it's understandable why the Sejani doesn't want to try and take that fight, the healing aspect of that one, and of course the damage that comes through. Graspidon dying on Orises as well. It's not a 1v1 you want to take as a tank jungler in this matchup. Sejani will return to that jungle role. And we're seeing resets coming through now. This has been a very exciting early game. We're transitioning to that early to mid. Not much action in that mid lane, but the Veigar sits on 2 kills so far in this game.
Yeah, the Veigar is in a very good position. I feel like their top mid for University of Michigan needs to pull their weight and then some in this game. Right now, the Varus isn't going to be online for quite a while. Hina-chan Lover with a bit of a heat check right there, but misses it. But at the end of the day, it feels like University of Michigan are in a lom-com, right? There's the romantic aspects. Hey, our mid, our top are doing very well. And then there's the comedy aspects where it's, oh my goodness, Tay is 0-3-3, and we've let Gorica become 4-2-1. So there's some stuff to love. There's some laughing aspects. Bring your family. It is a film for the ages.
Yeah, there's some Ryan Reynolds in this game for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon gonna be round the corner here. 2 seconds on that one. And it looks like primed and ready are UCI to take the second Dragon of the game. Will we see a response from University of Michigan? It doesn't look like it. They've accepted that they'll leave Orises up there in the top lane by himself. Makai actually starting up the second Herald of the game. I believe it is. He will get on that one. He's going to get the rotation from the ball lane as well. Sejani creeping about, looking to see if they can try and find this Veigar. They will on the vision. He'll clear out one, but one still remains. And Mike Young still stuck under that second tier in the top lane.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with that. And I think if you're a University of Michigan fan, you also have to be happy with that. Oris is playing very ballsy right now. He's going to survive for it, but man, he is pushing up very far. What I was trying to say was that Orsis gets top turret all by himself, so you get that turret gold onto Orsis, who right now is 3-1-0. So that's fantastic. You also get the Rift Herald. I feel like at the moment, Duwan is leading his troops very well in terms of their macro play, because a Dragon for a top and a Rift Herald, I'll take that trade any day. I think University of Michigan is very happy to take that.
University of Michigan, they will try and defend that mid lane as best they can here. The roams from the bot lane, you try and keep your eyes on that one. Tracking the bot lane as well as the macro in this game going to be so important for both organizations to make it through here. 3-1 on the Fiora. Horus is definitely off to the races in this one. Tiamat in the inventory as well, just looking to consistently push without question. Mike Young, haven't seen much of him, but still deathless in this game. And of course, Glorious going to be paired up really well with the Wukong. Unconventional Wukong top lane, but it's working out pretty well for them here, Bonfire.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the Wukong. Obviously, you want to split push when you're on this Fiora. When you're Mike Young, you're thinking, I want to be anywhere but here. I want to be beside my friends, having a good time. And right now, Orsis is like his mom. He says, you can't be out past midnight. You know, I'm going to get mad if you are. Soma.
Yeah, Hina-chan Lover lands that one in the fog of war. Thresh will abide. Just walk away from the Blitzcrank for now. 5 strong in the mid lane is UCI.
Ooh,
They'll opt to go by, try and cut off Horus as they see him here. He's in trouble. Gets Arctic Assault from the Sejani. Gonna see a fight on 2 fronts. Cena's trying to love. We're gonna get a flash on the red buff. He's gonna be safe there. That's gonna be the route up, but coming through from the Aphelios and Makai will fall in the skirmish. Cyclone activated for style points from Mike Young. Flash forward. Gorika! Oh, the Gale Force forward! And Tate gets the dark passes to safety. The strength in the Thresh is good to keep the AD carry alive.
Yeah, that fight felt like a Llama and Jerry skit right there. They were chasing him across the map. Gorica wants to finish it off, but if you've ever seen a Llama and Jerry cartoon, you know that the cat never gets the mouse. Michigan Esports escape just by the skin of their teeth. They get the cheese, but they lose quite a lot for it. And that just goes to show that Orsis can't do everything that he wants to do. He might be the mom in this scenario, telling Mike Young to come back to his home, but he still can be punished for it at the end of the day and over pushed there and gets collapsed on top of. And so I feel like at this point, I would hope that Orsis now recognizes the limitations of his champion and will play a little safer. But knowing Orsis and the way that he's played this game, along with the entire season, he is going to continue to push the envelope as much as he can.
All or nothing on the Fiora. Again, 18 minutes into the game here. Both organizations, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. 4,000 gold lead has been pretty much the consistent gold lead on the side of UCI here. And Goria's going to walk away from that one. Gorka, I should say. He's going to walk away from that one. The Aphelios pretty strong in this game already. Gale Force Bloodthirst are going to be completed for him as well. Hitting the item spikes that the Aphelios needs to stay relevant. Even if Chunk down, is going to get an additional shield coming through as well. 4 strong in the mid lane is going to be the University of Michigan. Oh, they catch him. They get the cleanse, but Change the Corruption go through. Lands on him as well. Takes a piercing arrow. But you can see the strength in that shield. He's not going to be budged from there.
Yeah, but he has to burn cleanse, and now you have some question marks if you're UCI, because Aphelios is such a strong member on your team, but he kind of needs to be like a banana. He needs to have his own peel. He doesn't have anybody to look after him, and without the cleanse, that's a little bit of his peel chunked away. He's got like a little brown spot on him, you know, if he's a banana, for continuing with that reference. Got a brown spot, not rotten by any means, still would be delicious, but I think that there are some concerns that he's not going to be able to carry himself out, and I'm curious to see how they're going to play this team fight.
Well, they're looking for the jungler right now. That is the Sejani. Just over 50% health left on Glorious. Teleport going to come in from Mike Young. Join the team here. 5 strong in the mid lane. UCI don't really care about that dragon. Going to be spawned in about 10 seconds. If they don't give this over, then it's not a big deal. They're on soul point right now. They're on to the second tier in that mid lane. Duan going to go across with the Nature's Grasp
hold
as
on.
well. It's going to be the Death Sentence on. Oh, Flash Flea lands to the box.
Oh my
Zoning
God.
them out. Mike Young goes way too deep. He's going to fall for that one. Double kill over the Fiora. Still returning fire. Sujani going to be cut down on the front line. Goes
Oh, no.
forward. Gorica just relentless on the Aphelios. Now looking for the tree. Makai, that cat invitation going to be accepted. Debonair gets the ball out. Back forward on him. Hold on a second. It's not over right now. Do what's that magic? A trade of the ages. They go down respectfully. But that's going to be the ace over at UCI with a sole survivor. Two survivors, Gorica and Hina-chan Lover.
Ina-chan Lover is going to walk back to his AD care and he's going to say, what the hell did you eat for breakfast, my friend? Because Gorica, I think he ate his Wheaties with the way he's playing this game. He's out of his mind. 7-2 and 5, the ultimate. Chunked everybody down, and it looked like it could have been on the brink of a loss there, but he snatches victory from the jaws of defeat, ensures that the ace was going to come out. Man, Gorica is playing so incredibly well. Almost a steal.
Oh, wow.
Steal is not going to be found, and that is sole point. Oh, it's such a disaster for Michigan. They kind of needed that, and it looked good for so long, but now they're down 5,000. I can't read. 5,000 feels like 7,000 because Goric is nigh unkillable.
Well, the value of the Dragons might take it up there. And they've got everything to do in this game thus far. Remember, 5 kills still on this Fiora, so Fiora still a threat from that split push. Veigar are still continually going to scale up. So it'll be interesting to see how many passive stacks he has right now. That phenomenal evil power. Remember, he always gets an additional AP based off of that. And he's working his way towards that Rabadon's death cap right now. Stacking the Rod Ages. Interesting build from the Veigar in this one. Maximos taking the long way for a shortcut, but we'll see if he can keep that up. We're going to see a gank in the bot lane. Glorious goes down, and it's going to be the grand challenge. Gets the lunge away. Glacial Prison going to land. Beautiful riposte to get out with that one. Oris's styling survives the 2v1.
Yeah, he is no stranger to the Fiora. Has been such a prevalent factor for Michigan esports. Good to know that he still knows what buttons do what and when to press them. 170 CS, 5-3-1. If there's one thing to take away from this game, it's that Oris is damn good. Maximos.
He's under pressure right now. Drops the cage and will flash away. Return by Mike Young. Secures that one with crushing blow. Thresh goes down again to this relentless AD carry. 8 kills in the game for Gorica. 3 AMs to the good. Infinity Edge just completed for the Aphelios as well. And that big purple worm going to be very enticing for this UCI squad.
Yeah, they're going to have to mount some kind of comeback, Michigan is. They have the numbers. It is a 3v5, but Orsis is not something to be looked down upon. They're clearing out vision right now, but it's already fallen so low.
1,500, less than that. That's going to be slain. That's going to be secured by Glorious. Wow. Okay. Gonna get that one. Duan cut off from the rest of the squad now. He's gonna get a twisted advance. Markai smash to safety. Gets a blast cone as well. Permafrost mid-air. That's gonna be unfortunate for him. That's gonna be the cleanse coming out from
Oris,
Gorica.
no.
Returns fire on Oris's. Misses a riposte. No stun silence. Gorica gets that one. 9th kill of the game. The Aphelios just relentless in pursuit of kills in this game.
Somebody needs to tell Michigan esports that Glorica is absolutely insane right now. Duan certain to fall right here alongside the rest of his countrymen. Does not end up mattering that much because the gold is all in Glorica's pockets. 9-2 and 5, 238 CS. That shield is bigger than my damn house. It's unbelievable what he's able to do. And actually, it's very believable because he's a very good player. And I'm surprised that Michigan allowed him to play this game, but they did. They want the smoke. You wanted it, now you got it. Gorica is here, and he's not playing around.
Regrets they may have had a few, but one of them might be Gorica and Mike Young taking to the Rift tonight. Mike Young, not really off to the greatest of starts, but it's only fallen once in this game. But the story remains that spotlight on Gorica, this AD carry of UCI. Very relentless. Again, doesn't want to give him much up. Almost a double CS of Tate in this one. That's got to be rough from Michigan's AD carry.
Yeah, Tate, probably one to forget from him. Not his best game. Who can kind of blame him when you're going against Gorica? But at this point in the game, when you're down a little under 10,000, right about 9,000 gold, and all of it is on the Aphelios. There are very big concerns.
Aura
Oh,
says,
shit.
goes back in with the Landra. Post goes out as well. Grand challenge going to be Prog. That stasis by
Beautiful.
Mike Young. Gets deleted in the 1v1. Now Aura says looking at pad stats again. Working his way through that. And oh, that's a huge shockwave from Debonair. Gorica gets the opposing AD carry. Debonair go forward again. That's not going to be the deletion from Vega. Gets it with a Q. The baleful strike comes through for Maximus. Still relentless in that push in the bot lane. Gorica on it. Do one now.
Jeez.
That's another one. 11th kill of the game, and the siege continues.
Gorica, that is illegal. You can't do that on an AD carry. If you ever find that out, does not matter. He doesn't really care about the rules of what an AD carry can and cannot do. Playing like he's out of his damn mind. I do want to give a shout out to Orus's because just won 2 separate 1v1s in the mid lane and is able to get, I believe, 1 turret and continuously push in these waves, and that's during a Baron push. Has to be careful, right? There are still members here, but once the smoke fully continues to attack Mike Young, and that might be his demise with Orica coming.
Oh, goes forward with the Gale Force again. Who else but Gorica looking for Aura says. Gets out with that one. So the Fiora will live to fight another day. 7-4 for this game so far. And UCI, they're so ahead in this game. 8,000 is that goal lead. They don't look to let up right now, that dragon. This is going to be Soul Bonfire. And that'll be huge for this squad. Gorica, that shield is already huge. It's about to get even bigger.
Oh my goodness. That thing is huge. That's like 1/3 of his health bar, by the way, Lam. That thing is ginormous. I don't think he's going to die. That's my hot take for the rest of this game. I don't think he does. I think he just is going to go... I think he's going to end with 2 deaths at the end of this game. It's not really a hot take. It's kind of like a lukewarm hot pocket in the microwave for a minute and a half, and the middle's still cold type of cake.
Well, Tete doesn't even have boots. Going to get silenced. Going to get deleted. Gorica gets it again. Gorica goes legendary in this game. Thumbs up from Hina-chan Lover. That's going to be a great riposte. Again, Horus is on point with these every single time, but it doesn't look like it matters in this game. UCI, they're just accelerating beyond the capabilities of University of Michigan.
Yeah, it is absolutely... It's looking like Silence of the Lambs right now. Just an absolute psychopath, absolutely just destroying everything in his way. I think that's what the movie is. I'll be honest, I've never seen it. I feel like I've got the general idea. It is a good movie, so I've heard. I don't like horror movies, Lam, so I kind of avoided it. But I think Gorica, if you've seen the movie, you can tell me. What's his name? The Hannibal Lecter, right?
That's right.
Gorica is Hannibal Lecter, and he dines on the elite. And right now, he's dining on the #1 seed.
Well, I believe want to take some pictures was Jeffrey Dahmer, but Gorica is way beyond that, and in a league of his own right now. Double 100 CS on top of Tete in this one. The virus very struggling to face there. Mike Young. Oh, Tete, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm feeling a blank space right now. Do one. Gonna find 3 members of UCI. 3 gonna be cut down. Cage goes out from Vega. Maximus, not the ability to skill in this game. That's a rocket grab onto the money. Delivering. Horus is again knocked up and served up on a platter for the 5 members of UCI.
Tete has fallen. I repeat, Tete has fallen. Oh no. Oh my goodness. It's illegal, Lam. This is unfair. Look at Gorica. God. Oh my goodness.
It's just insurmountable at this point. Okay, like Vigo, is he gonna get it? Oh, of course it does. 15th kill of the game, 1-5. Gorica leading the charge. UCI taking down Nexus turret #1. And that's going to be Nexus turret #2. Oh, yo, what up, Tete? Yo, what up? That's why your tickets are so expensive for your damn... I don't know what it's called, your community, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. This is a Gorica show. And we had front row tickets to that one. 16 kills to end this game for UCI.
Yeah, he dropped. It feels like he dropped a hydrogen bomb on them. Gorica was playing out of his damn mind, blew them up. I gotta stop with these Lam puns. I'm having so much fun with them,
That's
though.
me,
And
baby. I'm
you
Lamb.
are Lam. You are Lam. You're almost as much him as Gorka is. Unfortunately, I think Gorka has you beat. I think by far and away the MVP of that match shows out in then some. I'm excited for NACL. If that was showing anything, it's that you need to watch UCI's NACL team because Gorka is prime time television.
Absolutely, and Philios didn't look out of place at all in that game. The virus, you can see the composition from Michigan in this one. It made sense. The Veigar needs to scale the Fiora option for the split push as well, and the Makai pairs up very well with the virus and the Thresh. But UCI, they just look so much ahead. And even the Wukong, Mike Young, the first blood was given over to the Fiora. It didn't matter here, Bonfire. Mike Young, cool and composed, and set up that whole game for Gorica to just take over.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think the most exciting thing for me is that I get to hear what Slayer and Goferino have to say about this because we've been screaming about this for like 30 minutes. They've been watching patiently. I'm curious if they can give us some insight that we missed because I feel like I just was blinded by some of the play of UCI.
Go Frino, Leo, take it over, baby. Over to you guys on the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Man, what what a first game. It was such a back and forth, a clown fiesta right at the start, too, with that near 5v5 disaster level 1 for UCI. But Go Farino, kind of like we predicted, a little bit of pat on the back for each other. Is UCI, they may have had level 1 woes, but the next 6 minutes of that game, boy, did they rarely slip up.
Yeah. Michigan did keep it close for the most part. It's just UCI just started gaining small leads here and there and really just started catapulting that towards the latter half of the game. We saw it with the dragon stacking, but then of course also Gorka, ending the game with double-digit kills and 2 deaths. So that was also a bit of a big deal, to say the least.
I think you're putting it a little bit lightly there, Goferino. It was a pretty big deal, and it's very funny to see, Mike Young certainly put himself into like a weaker matchup. He had to play pretty hard weak side on that island. In the top laner role, he's not known for playing, at least at this high level. Gorka, known for playing AD carry, and my God, did he show it against University of Michigan. It feels like they don't need any bans if they've got this guy helming the marksman.
Yeah, and poor Tate. Tay just couldn't catch a break, especially post laning phase, because it's like, oh, you walked past your turret. Here's
You're
a hook.
dead.
Here's just a cyclone waiting in the brush for you. It's like, okay, that sucked. But let's take a look at the first replay here, Slayer, which should be queuing up in just Bazinga. This should be the double kill here for Gorka in the bot lane. As it starts off with what looks like a pick onto Gorka, but Gorka's got pretty fancy feet here.
Does a really good job just walking out, dodging the hook, and I mean, Hina-chan Lover was hitting a lot of hooks all game long early and certainly punished Tay, and fans got used to seeing this. Tay falling off, and yeah, you mentioned it. This is what really just accelerated Gorka, and he did not slow down after picking up that second kill.
Let's see, one more kill coming in a second here. Coming in a second.
Not
Coming
even
in a second.
Slowly but surely.
Coming in a second.
Are we sure that maybe they don't?
Oh, there must.
I
Have
think
been
we
a
were
different replay. I was
bamboozled.
mixing it up. Because I know there's one where Gorka got a double kill, but must have been a different gank, a different fight in the bot lane. I think it was the 3v3 that broke out. Either way, though, I mean, I was kind of start of the end here for you, Michigan, in this game, because as Gorka getting their first kill, you're seeing Hino-chan starting to hit those hooks on the big primetime carry. Well, what could have been the big primetime carry in Tay, but Tay was, buried 6 feet under that game here, Slayer. So really just making sure to get your AD carry ahead and their AD carry really far behind. Great strategy from UC, as we can see from that game.
Yeah, really great strategy in Season 13, right? I mean, you can really see why all the memes about the 80 carries a weak position memes are all really dead, it feels like, this season, and Gorka kind of showed it. But I do want to switch to the other side of the map, go for it, because if there was one shining light in the early game for University of Michigan, it was Oris's. I mean, he was making plays throughout this game to try and keep the Wolverines in it.
Yeah, and had some really great plays, especially a 12-minute play, but this isn't that. This is going to be the 18-minute fight in the mid lane. It looks like, okay, maybe we're catching off Gorka. That's not quite the case. So just a huge skerfuffle here. It's all to set up for the dragon, And shortly after this should be the fight we're gonna see a Death Sentence miss. And here's all the people just walking on in. Did we get the timing wrong? We might have.
I'm starting to think that we got timings wrong here because
Yeah.
there is supposed to be a pretty big fight, and I think we unfortunately
Yeah.
whiffed on the timing. But yeah,
Yes.
so the big fight that was won at first there for UCI Esports was just Gorica doing a really good job positioning. I think he comes up with a triple kill, and I mean, they didn't pick up Baron off of that, but it felt like after that big fight win, there was just no stopping anything UCI had to throw at the Wolverines.
More or less, yeah. Overseas was not enough. Overseas didn't get far enough ahead. We saw some glimpses of that with the late game 1 versus 2 in the mid lane into getting 2 mid lane turrets, but by then the game was just kind of over.
Yeah, I mean, by that point, it was just a complete stomp. I think we should have one more replay coming soon of that final fight, but it's kind of just ceremonious. I mean, I didn't get a too good look at the damage charts. Here we will run a 28-minute fight, or actually,
yeah,
this is the fight we missed. So this is the one we meant to get earlier. It's a mid push. They push off the dragon. They choose to take the mid turret. And look at Mike Young. I mean, the synergy from these two and Glorious as well. The stuns, the knockups, the 3-man knockup. And the big thing, Goferino, is Gorka wasn't touched until that hook landed from Soma.
Uh-huh. And the start of that fight looks so good here for University of Michigan. Because he got Duan going in, getting hooked, but actually getting out. And they're able to take down Hino-chan before that fight really starts off proper. But the fact is, you eat up the Cyclone plus Moonlight Vigil Wombo combo here. And then it's just like, yeah, that one's a done deal. So it's a 5 for 4. Yes, it's pretty damn close, but then you have to kind of consider that UCI, they're able to get that mid lane inner turret off of that. They're able to get themselves that third dragon of the game off of that as well. And that's when it really felt like Michigan was just getting knocked out of the game.
Yeah, and you could really see, you know, it might not jump off the stat sheet in that game, but Mike Young, in those few team fights we saw, just played the Wukong masterfully, like we kind of highlighted he could before we even got into game. He's on that weak side matchup. I mean, at points he was down 30 CS in his matchup top lane. He had to sacrifice so many waves early on, but when it really counted in those team fights, he found the right knockups, he hit the right priority targets, and he let the team clean up the rest.
Mm-hmm. And it worked out pretty well here for UCI, despite the fact that they are having to play at a sphere handicap, missing all 5 bans, especially when you're on red side. That means the blue side has the pick of the litter when it comes to OP picks. I mean, they're able to make it work in the end. I'd like to say a lot of it's probably off the back of Hino-chan landing some really amazing hooks to just snowball the bottom side of the map specifically.
Well, we'll certainly have to see what the switch up comes from the Wolverines. They'll obviously have the priority in bans, but we're going to go to a quick break on the other side. Or actually, never mind. We're not going to a quick break. We already have draft ready. So it's time to get into Game 2 draft. We're not stopping here on the Divine League playoff broadcast. We're going back to Bonfire and Lom. Take us through the Game 2 draft.
Welcome back. Thank you very much, Mr. Silverman. Thank you very much, Goferino. We're ready for this all-enticing draft. It's all to do for the side of University of Michigan Bonfire. How do they correct the wrongs of the first game? Because UCI, it was a bit of a blowout here.
I would just do 5 AD carry bans, and I think that even if Goferino picks an AD carry, I still think you ban AD carries just in case he decides that he doesn't want to go the AD carry. Okay, jokes aside, I think that they need to focus a lot more on bot side. I think we saw a lot of ganks going towards mid. You saw Duon roaming around, and that's great in a normal match. But when there's such a presence in the bot side, when you've got an AD carry on UCI like the one that they have, you need to focus more bot. And so I think an early game jungler can really help them out. Mid lane wasn't an issue, top lane wasn't an issue. Both are pretty self-sufficient. You just can't let Gorko get as ahead as he did. Easier said than done, but even if you go even with Gorko, I think you're happy about the position you're in.
Yeah, it's not bad. 16 kills in the game. Not bad. Not
Not
bad. I
bad.
mean, I've
Not
had
bad at all.
some pretty good solo queue games myself. This isn't solo queue. This is the biggest play of them all. This is Divine and Risen, baby. And you got to show up or show out. One way or another, you're either on the receiving end or you have to step up to the plate. And right now, UCI, they're certainly doing that. But the bans are going to come through. Be interesting to see if they actually get the bans taken away for the second game. Albeit that Mike Young looked pretty comfortable up there, as well as Gorica again stealing the spotlight. This AD carry was phenomenal, which begs the question, does Aphelios go through in the bans here?
I think that you can leave Aphelios up, and I think that's crazy to say after what we saw from the Aphelios, but I don't think it was the champion that was the issue. I think any AD carry would have carried as much as the Aphelios did. And so I feel like it's less about the Aphelios and more about the player who's pressing the buttons for the Aphelios to do the things that the unspeakable horrors that were done in Summoner's Rift last game. So I think it just comes down to making sure that Gorico feels uncomfortable, put a pin under his mattress, really make him sleep poorly, eat poorly, and that's how you break the mental of a man. And they need to do that if they have any chance, any hope at all of continuing in these playoffs.
Lock him up, throw away the key. I got it.
Yeah.
Bonfire. Yeah, get him out of here. Get the hell out. I'm only kidding. We're going to see the band of Fiora coming through as well. So, UCI not going to let that one go over, albeit that they are one to the good in this series. And you can see why. Fiora was really the shining light in that last game, if there was any to be had. But Yumi
Whoa.
is going to be locked in instantly for University of Michigan. Tell me your thoughts on this champion right now.
I'm trying to think about what they want to do, and I think the first thing that comes to mind is just don't give Goriko fights. And I feel like Yumi is kind of a part of that. I think that the other part of that would be a Sivir or something that hangs back and scales up. As I say that, it looks like Goriko wants to seal that away, but that would be the idea, right? Aphelios is a hyperscaler, and when you give him those early kills, that's how Goriko got so ahead. Diver, also a hyper scaling AD carry. And I feel like for the side of Michigan, they know their strategy now. By picking that Yumi, they've kind of said to themselves that they are not going to fight Goriko. I assume they're going to have a heavy scaling AD carry that just wants to play under tower, and they're just not going to give him the time of day.
Yeah, Silver going to be returned from UCI here, so they'll lock that one in. It's paired very well with Karma. But Vi is going to be the second option for UCI here as well. Very aggressive jungler. And of course, that cease and desist becomes so perfect when it comes to a champion like Yumi. Oh, it's instantly
Ooh.
replied from University of Michigan. They don't even think about it. Zeri Sejani going to follow as well here.
Yeah, I was going to say that Zeri is a fantastic position, but I actually think that Michigan are in a good position as well because I've just got word from our producer that Mike and Gorica are gone and the regular roster is back in action for UCI. So no more concerns about Gorica. They can continue with their original game plan. Let's see what kind of effect that has on the series. I was not expecting to get that note from Caddy.
Well, Caddy, always on point, as always. Our producer, very much grateful for his time spent here. And Blitzcrank going to be locked in by UCI. It's understandable why it was a problem for University of Michigan to keep tabs on the support. And now Blitzcrank as well. That Foggy War game, so strong, enhanced by the vision that you actually push forward here as well. The rocket grab can come from anywhere. Now, who are you trying to grab with that? Because, I mean, Zeri's going to be paired with Yumi, and of course, Yumi can bounce around if the Zeri is to fall, but the Lightning Crash is going to be so important in these team fights. Zeri has definitely got a license to take over those, and Sejani being locked in by University of Michigan might give you glimpses into the rest of their composition here as the second phase of the bans goes through.
Yeah, and I think that's a big issue, right? You talked about that Blitzcrank wants to grab probably the Zeri or the Yumi, but Yumi's going to constantly be on top of Michigan Esports members, and Zeri got her a dash. And so I think there are concerns. It was a lot easier last game with the Varus, with a, not an Oriana, with a Vagar it's just so much easier to grab those members. Even a Thresh isn't that tanky until later, and so I think the Blitzcrank was great then. Now you put it perfectly, right? Who are you gonna grab? And so I don't know. It's not as great of a pick as I think UCI was expecting. I think they would want to get more mileage out of it, but it might not get what they want it to. It just really depends on who the mid laner is going to be for Michigan.
Oh, mid lane are going to be answered from UCI. They pick up the Ari now, recently buffed with the Spirit Rush on a few patches ago now. Ari is still a staple in that mid lane. Of course, it's a very micro-oriented champion. Can you get the charms off? Can you get a Spirit Rush to get the picks or to safety is the biggest question that goes along with that. Now, pair that up with the Rocket Grab, it sets up very well for that charm. Point and click almost. Wukong being hovered here as well. Looks like a switcheroo if I've ever seen one here, Bonfire.
Yeah, no, they're trying something new. I think they saw how Mike piloted the Wukong top. Now the question is this a Wukong top or a Wukong jungle? And I'm not sure. I really have no clue, Lum. And so I'm not going to say anything. The Annie, I think, is a interesting pick. I think it's a very interesting pick. It's good at locking up Ari, right? And it's good at ensuring that Vi isn't able to run rampant on your backline. However, if you get hooked by Blitzcrank, you're dead. And I don't think there's a nicer way that I can put that. You're just going to die. And so that I think is a big concern. However, there's not a lot of other mid laners that you could go there into this position. And so I don't think Andy's that bad of a pick.
Oh, wow. Wow. UCI locking Kisante, which might be going against either Sejani or Wukong here. Now, to touch on the point of the Annie. So, Annie, what does she do best? Well, Timbers is a goddamn thing in this game. Pyromania passive, of course, that stun's going to be up after every, I believe it's fourth ability spell
Yes,
that goes
sir.
through. Then Annie will have it ready and waiting. It can interrupt the Vi after this cease and desist, so that's going to be very important. Maybe a peel factor for the Zeri to make sure that she doesn't get locked up. Remember, Yumi's final chapter does not root up the enemy. In fact, gives a percentage of healing over to whoever she is paired with. So based on that, Bonfire, we're going to wrap this up real quick because I need to hear that sexy ass voice of Leo Silverman and Go for Reno take over this one because they got better thoughts than I do. I can tell you that very much. What you can see on the screen right now, these team compositions, who takes this game. We're going to see a 2-0. We're going to tie this up 1-1 right now.
I am gonna have to go with a 1-1. I want this to go the distance so very badly, Lam. I think this is more hopium than anything else, but I just want Michigan to realize their potential and battle us to a third game. I have no personal stake, unlike Slayer, in either of these teams. I don't have a brother, and my sister goes to Pitt, and so I just want a good series. That's all I'm hoping for.
I want a good series as well, which is why I'm going to remain neutral. I'd love to see it go to that final game, but to find out if it actually does, let me in you a little secret. The biggest brains in Divine League is coming at you right now. Mr.
And
Leo
now?
Silverman, Mr. Goferino. And Bonfire is
Wow.
there as well. He's not going to be here right now, but it's going to be Leo Silverman and Goferino. Take it away,
Wow.
gentlemen.
I can't get over the fact that
Dude.
every time Lom throws to me, he hits me with my legal. It's the funny. It's the funniest. He says my whole name out loud. It doesn't even put the Slayer part. It's just like Leo Silverman. Well, thank you for throwing it back to us, Lom. And Gofrino, I think you put it pretty well before we got back on here. What are you seeing from the University of Michigan comp? It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, like it's a lot of eggs in the Tay basket here. It's not a full protect the Tay composition, no, because you do still have the Wukong here for Orsees in the top lane potentially, or it could be top lane Sejuani. Either way, though, you got a Wukong, you also got a Nanny here, so you definitely got other damage. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be up to Tay here in this bot lane. You got your little Discord kitten on you, and it's gonna be up to you to really carry these fights and whether or not you get hooked by Hina Chan's hooks.
You know, it's funny. It feels like a patch ago, maybe two, Yumi felt like that, like like that little kitten. I feel like he's now been buffed back up to that tiger because Lom kind of alluded to it. Yumi is pretty busted. Had to get hot fixed on this patch. Putting her back on Zeri as well. It could be dynamite, but I do want to quickly sort of further update the switch up we've seen from UCI that Bonfire alluded to. Mike Young and Gorica are out of the team now. You could kind of allude to that because they because UC Irvine, they had all their bans again, so they had full bans. That's because they have Gino and Mr. Dot back in the top lane and AD carries respectively. So it seems like they just wanted that 1-0 really badly go for Reno, and then they went back to that roster they've been doing pretty well with Divine League all regular split long.
Well, that and his college and spring break did just end for most people.
True,
So
it did
maybe
just
there
end for
was some
me.
partying involved. Maybe there was some late flights involved. Who knows? Always a hard call. Always a hard call.
But I do want to ask you. So obviously, there's a drop off. I mean, I would be hard pressed to see. Mr. Dot could do it, but Mr. Dot, I don't know how you can one up what Gorica did in game number 1. How much of a drop off do you see this coming along for UCI? Because obviously, the rest of the team is more comfortable with these two in the lineup, but the skill level is likely to be lower than a Mike Young and Gorica.
Um, I think it's gonna be probably about the same-ish, especially when you factor in the fact that you actually got bans this game. My biggest concern for the UCI composition is that it feels a little dysfunctional. Like, you have some pretty heavy pick here. You have Vi, you have Blitzcrank, you have Ari, but you don't have the best follow-up to that pick, and then also you have this Sivir that wants those, like, really big front-to-back team fights that really lets your team just charge in. So UCI's composition, I feel like it's going to be dependent a little bit on Hina-chan here, even though I said the pick angle doesn't seem the best, because, I mean, if you hook in Tay-Tay, you kind of win fights.
Yeah, you certainly do. It actually looks like Tay-Tay was subbed out. So they actually just threw Tay-Tay to the wayside, and they brought Arden back in to step in. So Arden's going to sub in for the University of Michigan side. Still the same logic. It's just it's not the Tay-Tay basket. It's the Arden basket now. And you're going to look at, they went client side through the draft, through the spectate delay. A lot of interesting summoners. We're going to look at the runes now, as well as it will be that Sejuani top instead of the Wukong we saw from UCI in game 1.
Makes sense here, especially into the Cassante, because, like, Wukong realistically will kind of tickle the Cassante, so why not just have the Sejuani up there? You can maybe do some Heartsteel stacking, Grass Spores is always pretty fun in the top lane. Other than that, though, pretty expected across the Rift here. Mid lane should be pretty interesting, because it's Annie versus Ahri, a little bit of Season 1/Season 2 magic there. A lot of potential solo kill threat from them.
And the PTA on Sivir is intriguing to me. I assume this would be lethal on both sides. PTA obviously a lot more early game oriented, so it'll be interesting. Mr. Dot calling his shot in the early game, and pretty standard runes for the two supports here. So I'm gonna ask you a hard question. Obviously, go for Reno. As a caster, I feel like I always love as many games as possible of League action. I assume you share that sentiment. But based off this draft, are you feeling the brooms coming out of the closet, or are we going to get as much action as possible tonight?
From the compositions, I'm liking UCI's more here, since it feels more holistic. Like, it's very clear. It's like, okay, Arden, you're going to pop off this game. You got a kid in on you. We got a lot of setup for you with all this CC and a lot of just explosiveness to keep people locked down. The main thing for UCI I'm watching out for, though, is, of course, Hina-chan lover, because we saw how accurate those hooks were last game, and you hook in Arden, like I mentioned, you kind of win the team fight here. So maybe it is going to be the Hina-chan versus Arden show here.
I mean, Hina-chan certainly showed in game 1 very, very capable of landing those high priority hooks, but we are certainly set up for a very intriguing clash because it feels like University of Michigan, they're going back to that sort of really heavily style team fight oriented comp where, if you can sort of chain Duan is Pupper.
Say hello, Zuki. She wanted to interrupt me, so she's guest starring.
She deserves the entire spotlight. I don't care. Forget what I was saying, everybody. Just look at the cute pup. That's all that matters. This is how we stall to get into game, huh? Go for Reno.
Hey, at least it isn't like last week where they had to stall for about 20 whole minutes.
Oh yeah, that was the definition of brutal. It's very funny. We were talking about a cat all this post game on the draft with Soma, and we have a pupper to balance it out. So the dog and cat lovers are just succinct on this front. And I want to back. I realize I didn't even give my prediction. I am going to be biased. I don't really care. UCI all the way. It's going to be a sweep. I really like you know, the Kasante. I like Hina-chan showed out in game number 1. And Debonair and Glorious also really pulled their weight. And I feel like this squad is just, it's just too good to go out in this style. They're not going to lose. They're not going to drop a game. They have the confidence. I'm a big momentum supporter. And they're going to carry the momentum into this second game with a sweep. And I guess me and GoForino have to go against each other on this pick.
Perhaps. Maybe we can have Zuki be the tiebreaker here, but she's not really talking to us much. So we'll leave it to the casters to be the tiebreakers here, or just the tie makers.
So exactly right. I think we're set to go into game here soon. And yeah, I just got the all clear. So as much as I'm sure everybody would love to look at the beautiful, cute pupper, we're going back to Summoner's Rift. Lom and Bonfire from Summoner's Rift, not Bikini Bottom or Krusty Krab. Lom, take it away.
Straight out of the depths of Syracuse, baby. That's Mr. Silverman. You know I'm addressing you by that all day long. Bonfire, we're back. Let me be honest with you. I'm a big fan of both of these team compositions. Honesty is the best policy as far as I know it here. Look at this cheesy Hina-chan lover. Anybody seen Silver Bronze League of Legends? Yeah, that hook's not going to work in this one, buddy. He's going to have to try that one again. Substitutions come across the board here, Bonfire. Will it make the difference for University of Michigan?
I have no clue. I really don't know, but they do have not what they do know is that this is going to come. This might be a good counterpunch. They don't have the Wukong, and UCI actually are going to call the dogs off. They kind of decide that that is not the way that they want this game to start. Last game, I think they're having flashbacks of how Oris's tore them a new one in that 5v5 last game early on. So instead, they're going to back themselves off. In terms of the substitutions, Lom, I don't know. I have not seen a lot of these players play in a bit. And I feel like also, you know, Gino alongside Mr. Dot and Arden don't have the warm-ups that the rest of the members on the team do. I think there's something to be said about having those first couple of games to get ready. So, I don't know. It'll be exciting. I think you were probably hoping for something more definite, Lon, but I don't have anything for you. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. As the game transitions, we'll check in back with Bonfire whenever he wants to give his precious opinion. We always appreciate, of course, Mr. Dot being introduced to the fray, and as well as UCI Gino up there in the top lane. Aura says very comfortable in that field last time out, even against Mike Young, who was behind that first blood, went over to Oris's, didn't make much of it, but that Sejani confirmed will be in the top side. Teleport Ignite going to be on that champion, going up against Kisante. We've seen a lot of hype about this champion in weeks gone by, but really falling off a little bit, but just as strong here, Bonfire.
Oh, he's still a fantastic champion, Lum. You know that our good friends at Riot Games couldn't let a new champion be bad for that long. They have to get that money. They got to get that moolah, sell those skins. So they ensured that Kasante wasn't in a bad place for that long. And at the moment, Gino is making this relatively new champion sing, doing incredibly well. He's not that new, but I still consider him a new champion.
Depending if you've played against him in solo queue, it's going to prove very difficult if you haven't. He's got a few surprises up his sleeves as Kisante pushes in the Sejani very early on. It's going to be expected. Wukong actually going to make the call to actually get a sneak invade here. Look at the wraparound. Very intelligent play coming through from Duan. Can he get it off though? Gino still forcing Orses under the turret here. It's going to be the long way for a shortcut by the Wukong. It's going to be the Ghost. Gino going to tank the turret shot. Just going to fall in the 1v1. Burning with Ignite. First blood over the Orses. And University of Michigan, they get it this time.
That is the start that they needed right there. And that's the dash that I talked about. That's how I said that Arden... I thought it was obviously going to be a different AD carry, but no matter what AD carry mans the helm that is Zeri, the dash should keep you safe. And the top side, nothing can keep Gino safe. And gone are the days of Mike Young in the top lane. It's UCI Gino now. By no means a poor top laner, but early on, not leaving the best taste in your mouth. Kind of like orange juice and toothpaste. You need something to wash it out, and I'm hoping that Gino can show up a little bit better, because I know he's a good top laner.
Love that analogy. Debonair going in. Maximus has to get a flash out this early on the Annie. That's going to be A bit debilitating for the Annie, the combination of Tibbers plus the Pyromania,
not
and it's going to be
again.
a revisit from Do1. He's got the dog in him. Permafrost goes through onto Gino. Who's he going to go over to? That's Do1. That's the jungler. That's University of Michigan. 2 kills to the good in this game.
I know that you love your pop culture references, Lom, so I'm going to give you one right now. Leave Gino alone.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Early 2000s, leave Gino alone. At the moment, Do1 has set himself up a tent. He's got all of the necessities for a good camping trip because he is just absolutely on top of Gino.
Oh, Maximus in trouble. Flash Voltbreaker doesn't land, but how about that? Set up on a plate for Debonair. UCI. Get one back.
Ooh, Oris does he want this? It's a 2v1. He's just going to go for at least a little bit. That's a lot of damage.
Glorious. He's getting stacked up again. Charm lands as well. Going to get Voltbreaker back into the melee distance of the Ari. Trying to juggle the aggro. How's your aggro juggling here? Hina-chan Lover says, I'll abide by that one. Do1 is here. Oris is still burning health, but going to keep the boar alive. Sejani gets out, but Ari doesn't.
Wow. How about Oris? In the first game, we saw him on a carry, but can you do it on the tank? Yes, you can. Oris is playing a Fiora Sejuani mix at the moment with the aggression. Just goes to show that the bigger bodies can do damage too. He's a heavyweight dealing with some lightweights at the moment for all you MMA fans. Do1 might be out of his element here, though.
Oh, baby, let's go to the welterweight. Let's talk about Do1 against Gino Debonair. Debonair actually sent it up there. That's going to be a total strike. Path Mega shutdown over Debonair. The Ari gets one back. They cut off the chain. And the monkey see, monkey do. Monkey going to go on a cooldown right in front of you.
If we're talking MMA, I feel like the best pound-for-pound fighter we have on the map right now has to be Debonair. 41 CS, 22-1, on his KDA leaderboard. Doing a fantastic job on the Ari, cashing in and out of these punches, and throws a absolute knockout onto Do1. And he's going to drop. He is no longer the #1 contender. He's going to have to work his way back up if he wants anything to do with the mid lane.
It's to and fro. Tibbers comes out pissed off that Annie's under a little bit of threat. Will return back to the mid laner. Maximus holding his own against the Ari. 2 kills to the good in that matchup is Debonair. And again, the roams from the Blitzcrank. It's so phenomenal. Hina-chan Lover seems to just have this champion down to a T, yet to get an assist, but might look to make it happen right here, right now. Pyromania, that's a knockout blow if I've ever seen one. Bonfire. Maximus goes down to Glorious with the rotations from Hina-chan Lover.
Hina-chan Lover is leaving Mr. Dot on an absolute island, but I don't think there's any complaints. And then Oris wants all the smoke.
They're just not in their lanes at all. Everybody's just free firing. Orises gets Glorious, still taking the fight. Still 1v3. The boar looking for more. Tanks way too much and will fall to Debonair in the mid lane.
Oris is an absolute madman. I think there's some concerns about the mental health of this top laner, because I just can't explain it. You see, he's mid lane more than he's top. He's going for 1v3s. This man needs to be locked up. He needs to pay for his crimes, Lom. How is he able to do this on a champion like Sejuani? No matter. It's unbelievable. But he's putting on an absolute clinic. The fact that he's able to do this and he's not inting his face off just goes to show. I'm going to show this demo to every single solo queue teammate I have that says that they're not getting any help top lane. And I'm going to say, if Oris can do it, so can you.
Well, Gino might be in trouble here. He's got the ghost available, but goes forward. Oris says, gets the ghost out of the K'Sante. So job done for Do1. He'll back off here. And of course, Gino will walk back up. Hina-chan Lover going to go forward. Going to get the rocket grab shot on Annie. The flash is good. And the charm is out of range. But Shelly going to be the next focus. Right here, Oris still walking up against Gino. Still going to take the fight against him. All out still available for the K'Sante. Gets grass proc right there. Shelly down to about 1,500 health. Do1 waiting in the wings. Might be looking for a steal. Not going to get it. outmatched by UCI. They'll be
Do they
able to get
want
that one.
this?
Gino, they're still taking a
2v4.
2v4 right now. That's going to be Cyclone activated. Permafrost's going to go down as well. Going to turn their attention. And the jungler of Michigan falls in a belly of fire. Debonair still has 2 Spirit Rush remaining. 1 already used. And Glacial Prison going to use as a disengage tool in that skirmish.
Michigan do not care about the numbers game at all. They're going for fights that they probably shouldn't have. If there's any question about if Orisis wants the smoke right here, I don't think that you need to know. He definitely wants Glorious, but he doesn't know about the second.
Gino is here to back up the jungler. Down goes the Sejani. Oris is getting a little bit too excited up there in the top side.
Yeah, a little too big for his britches. I question the sanity of this man, and I think that that goes to show that no matter how crazy you play these early games, other teams are going to be able to adapt. They're going to recognize your patterns, and I feel like that was a glorious bait from Glorious right there, making his namesake work. It was like, you ever go fishing, Lam? Are you a big fisher? I know you're Canadian. There's a lot of lakes in Canada. Do you ever go fishing?
Well, if we talk about old school RuneScape, then I am 99 fishing in that game.
Okay. I meant in
Definitely
real
not
life,
in real
but
life.
sure.
No,
Okay, not in real life.
can you farm sharks barehanded? I don't think so, Bonfire.
You don't know me. Maybe I can. No, I cannot.
Maybe
But
it's
the point
built
I'm,
different.
I'm not built different. I'm built actually very regularly. I don't even remember the point I was trying to make. At the end of the day, Oris has died.
Gone
I
fishing.
think that's where I was leading with it.
He makes it work. Bonfire, a staple of the Divine League in Risen. You know I'm a big fan. If you're not following this man on Twitter, you have to. Especially him and Leo Silverman sticking it out for Syracuse, baby. Let me tell you, these guys are going places. But going places up to both of these organizations. Let's see how far they get in this one. It's going to be 3 strong in that bot side for UCI. They're going to drop Shelly down there as well. Try and get more money in the pocket. Mr. Dot, smart move or not. Bonfire, thoughts on this one? All the money into the Sivir?
Good. Big thumbs up. Seal of approval. I like it. The Sivir is 0-0-0. The only difference is the CS, and he's down 4. You need to ensure that the Sivir doesn't fall too behind. The mid laner's fine, 4-1. You don't want the money in Gino's pocket because he's just going to throw it away. He's got his vices. If you give him any money, he's just going to spend it on bad things. And so I think you want to get it on Mr. Dot. He's a much smarter spender, and I think late game you'll see the return is a lot more than on a Cassandra.
Oh, have a look at the inventory of the Zeri right now. Shield Wall going to be complete for the AD carry. There's going to be a pause as well. Play will resume in record time. By the way, actually, Jabiri everybody right there. That's not going to happen, but let's look at the state of the game right now, Bonfire. 11.5 and in this game. The Sejani is being everywhere. Tier picked up by the Sejani. Got to be a little bit interesting as well. Food for thought. Kisanti is still a good matchup, and we see actually a return of the Chemtech actually being completed on Glorious as well. The Vi going to pick that up as the first item of the game.
I'm a Chemtech enjoyer, Lum. I don't know if you know this about me. I am a Chemtech purist. I belong to the cult of Chemtech. I just remember back in the day, I'm a Skarner spammer. I love me some Hecarim too, and I remember how strong of an item it was. And so, if not for nostalgia, I love a Chemtech purchase. I appreciate it. It makes me want Michigan to win even more. Thank you for making my cold, dead heart sing just one last time.
I mean, look, everybody's got their favorites. Sometimes it's a greyhound, sometimes it's a pug. Either way, you got to put in the effort to get out the results. And I can tell you, if you have any breathing difficulties as a pug, it's very unfortunate that you're going against a greyhound. But the substitutes came in here, Bonfire, right? The substitutes came in. UCI are not the monster they were in the first game here. So University of Michigan, they're still within reach here. The gold lead is not that far apart. The One Dragon has already gone over to UCI, and they'll look to try and stem that as a staple going through this game. But can they keep it up? Of course, the Ari is 4-1 to the good. The Everfrost already completed on her. It's going to set up nicely for that charm. But can they keep up that pace even with the substitutes?
I know you said you were going to come back to me, and you were hoping I would have a definite answer, and I don't. I'm not sure.
It's not got
I
one.
hope. I'm not. I
got one.
refuse to take a side. I am a centrist on this matter. Apolitical, we'll say. No, jokes aside, I hope that Michigan are able to take this one. I'm not a UCI hater by any means, but I want that damn game 3. I feel like I deserve it. You know, I feel like I've worked my way for a good game 3 here. I don't know if Gino's going to survive this, though.
Gino is in trouble up there. Orses drops the Kisante brother in trouble. Arden now paired with the Yumi, gonna take advantage from Mr. Dot. Over goes Debonair. The lightning crash goes down as well. It's gonna be the final shutdown. That's gonna heal. Arden first round of my blast going to safety. Oh, almost sabotaged the hell out of the AD carry. Soma is surely gonna fall here. The Yumi has no way down in this one. Action in the top lane. Glorious drops the Wukong. It's gonna be Do1 full in there. Arceus gets a permafrost to safety. Vi charging up. Voltbreaker launch. Clean clutch and finesse. Glorious killing the Sejani.
Yeah, you talked about the game pace. They had the kill in the top side. They've been abusing Gino this entire game, but I don't think he cares. 3-1-4 on the Vi, 6-1-0 on Debonar, living up to his name. He is royalty right now, high society, and 0-0-2 on Mr. Dot with 106 CS. The Sivir will feel comfortable as this game progresses. UCI putting themselves in a fantastic position as this game goes forward. They're making like their name. They're Californians, and they are chillin' right now.
Chillin', Bing chillin', it's all the same when it comes to Californian. And look, Debonair is having a game of it. 6 kills to the good 500 goal shutdown. It's got to be enticing for the side of University of Michigan. Can they get the shutdowns? That's the biggest question going forward here. The Wukong not doing so bad in this game. Divine Sunderer completed for Do1 in this game. He needs to get a little bit more active. And of course, they have the reserve of the Zeri. I was about to say the Ari, but Ari's on the other team. But Zeri plus Yumi. Gonna get the leather boots in there as well. Arden needs a little bit more gold to upgrade that one. But the bot lane right now is not looking so bad. It's kind of setting up for something nice here, Bonfire.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to bait Hina-chan Lover into something here. You know he wants it. And the top side, Orsus might be in trouble again.
Oh, it's about to be in trouble for Orsis. Alcove Gaming lands the charm as well. Gino goes forward. It's going to take a lot to get this board down, but Vi is going to accompany that. 3 versus 1. Arctic Assault to safety. How safe is it going to be? That charm lands as well. Very clutch. Glorious going to get that one. The 3v1. That's unfair. Do1. The patience is just unreal. Not going to pull the trigger. Rocket grab goes in. Thunder Traps are going to go out on his Zeri. It's going to be a lightning crash. Tanks 3 turret shots. Do1 still looking. Maximus is here with the Pyromania. Tippers gets in on the action. They pick off the bot lane synergy. It's that top lane is just in tires right now.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, I did graduate kindergarten. I know there are some questions about my reading level, but I did graduate. And the one thing that I took away from that I still use in my everyday life is that 2 is a bigger number than 1. So the double kill on the bot side is more important than the Orus's kill. And the fact that they weren't able to knock down the tower on the top side, and they were able to knock down the bot tower, means that that is a big check mark for the side of Michigan. Talked about the abuse on Gino. Orus is starting to feel some of those blows too. 4 deaths. They have a combined 7 deaths between both top laners. And Orus looks like he might want to try to die again here, but instead he's just going to take this himself. But with Glorious here, I think Orus might make this a 5th.
That's the teleport as well. Overcommitment. Debonair trying to get in on this as well. Who's going to pad the stats of the Ari? The Everfrost goes out as well, and that'll be Glorious. The Vi gets that kill onto the Sejani again. Gets the turret. That's pretty important. Hextech flash over the wall. Hina-chan Lover going very fast. Sonic the Hedgehog. He's going to give the thumbs up for that one. Return to the mid lane. Pilot over Mr. Dot. Sivir not looking too shabby in this one as well. The AD carry is very well matched. But that top lane is so fragile. The Sejani was ahead. But check the gold right now, Bonfire.
Still is ahead. Sejuani is still ahead in a good position. The gold is still firmly on the side of UCI. The fact that they haven't been able to knock down the top tower means that the kills for Orus are just that. They're just solo kills, and so the money is swinging, but it's not swinging as much as one would expect. It's looking like great kills, but this Ripped Herald is going to provide a lot better. Actually, it does not knock out any towers. At the end of the day, you can get a lot of kills, right? And it's fantastic to get kills. It's a PvP game after all, but the towers are really the moneymakers.
Oh, over the wall goes Glorious as well. That's going to be an engage by Cyclone by Do1, still falling up. Arden Got the lightning crash down as well. Keep an eye on the Zeri right now. That's going to be the focus of the Sejani. That's going to be the Ultra Shock through. This might be turned. Arden doing a lot of damage. 4 goes Orises. They won the smoke. They won it all. Sejani tanks a little bit too much. Soma going to fall to Yumi. Hina-chan Lover with a slither of health. And Vi returns to the Wolves. Very close fight, but still in favor of UCI.
I can't believe that they didn't get more there. They're kicking themselves. The health bar is so incredibly low. Only a slice of the pie left, and they want this dragon, but the backs are going to come through. Can there be a steal?
Glorious! So doesn't activate the Vault Breaker there, so the fire return to that blue buff. Very enticing. Still Hextech Skates gonna be activated. The Matrix on Summoner's Rift right now. Who can do the best Neo impression? Are you the chosen one in this game? And I can tell you the Vice 7-1 so far. Bonfire looking like the chosen one.
Oh, yeah. Right now, Glorious is playing like this is the last game of League of Legends he may ever play. And honestly, with his playoff hopes on the line, I understand it. I get it, brother. 7-1-5 playing out of his mind right now. And I think the only reason he probably didn't go for that steal right there is because he's got a bag of money attached to him. 700 gold. You do not want that going over to Arden. That is the biggest concern. The fact that Arden didn't get any kills in the last fight is fantastic for them. But once Arden starts getting ahead...
Hina-chan's going to be deleted by the Sejani, collapsed on by Arden. Yumi, remember, not going to spot her on the map. It's going to be paired with AD
Oh,
carry.
they got Arden. They got Arden.
On an AD carry right now, still healing. Orises, they actually get Arden. Zeri off the map. Orises is going to be the next on the menu. Burning one more auto attack. Doesn't do it. From Debonair, the Sejani going to get out with a slither hellfire. But how long? Mr. Dot walking in the vicinity. That's going to be the Boomerang Blade. Return fire. Gets it on the back. Soma. Yeah, you're going to fall there. Yumi is a champion. She's going to fall again for the 3rd time in this game.
Yeah, Michigan, they're just not finding the fights that they need to find. They get the initial kill there, but it's on to Oris's. 5 kills on the Sejuani, and I think you would really hope, you'd pray that one of these would just happen to fall onto Arden. This Zeri is playing this game so incredibly well. The AD carry switch feels like it's doing its job. But at the end of the day, the numbers matter more than anything else. It's a statistic game. And they're not going over to Arden, and because of that, the items aren't there either.
Mason, what do the numbers mean for any COD fans out there? RSA is going to walk forward, Debonair. I should say Debonair. It's not Debonair. Debonair. Maximus on the threat from the AD carry. Tippers! Piss the hell off! Oh, baby! Oh, that's Muhammad Ali! Oh, my God. Conor McGregor putting him asleep. The combination is finesse.
Oh, no, Arden.
Lover gets the stag field out, but that's going to go on the Arden. Lightning crash. Arden says, I'll take the fight to you. Debonair gets the charm on the AD carry. Everfrost's going to ruin him up for now. That disengage going to come through and do one return to the north side of the river, accompanied by his mid laner and the AD carry. Big purple worm going to be spawned here, Bonfire. It's a brief call, but it looks like they're not going to go for it.
Right now, Lum, these fights are on a knife's edge. You cannot tell who's going to win them. It looks like they're rapping, but the rap's got another rap behind it. It's an absolute lunch special. Raps on raps on raps. There's no knowledge of who's going to win these fights, and I love to see it. A 3,000 gold lead for the side of UCI, but honestly, with the way that these fights are going, really unsure who's going to come out on top. That fight we saw that Maximus might have something in his back pocket, can just blow up any single member other than Glorious and or Gino on the side of UCI, and with the vision down, the eyes are on Baron. They're going to get spotted out with that blue trinket, but look at the members of their team. Look at how far away they are. They're going to try to burn it. Are they going to be there in time?
Well, we'll see if they can get it done here. Mr. Dot still throwing the crates out. They're going to be discovered here. Oris is going to go into Gino. It's going to Hina-chan Lover. Actually use the flash to get in range. They've got Annie. Mid laner already down. Gino walking back towards the Baron here. Still a coin flip for this moment in time. Maximus not being here means that it's going to be reset. Baron full health. Still 11,000 on it. It's going to take a long time to actually fall here. Oris is still in the vicinity as well. Would do one is the most important 2-1. He's got the smite. The
no
Wukong,
vision.
can he swing his
They
way
have
into
no
this one?
vision.
Horus is going to go in with the Arctic Soul. Can he get in range here? It's going to be the Cyclone on the Mr. Dog. Gets the flash with the Sivir. Looking to try and kill him. We've got fights on 3. Fortunately, now that's the Wukong going to drop the Sivir. Collapse it.
Heroes
Back
alive.
into the pit. Do one. Still there. UCI Gino going to get that one. Debonair forced out of the pit as well. Sejani going to follow. Horus still feeding off too. They're going to turn back on to Gino. Already popped it all out. He gets to safety. The mid lane turret. They stole the Baron take. Yumi paired with a jungler of University of Michigan. The help are so low. Debonair Oracle out will only find the do-one. Gonna swing and secure the kill.
It's only 2 members alive for UCI. There's so much that Michigan can do on the map right now. Their eyes are on that mid turret. They win the all-important fight. Arden staying alive for so long. They're pushing out so much damage on the Zeri. Does end up falling, but that was a 4v5 Lom. They weren't expected to win this. They weren't supposed to win that. And instead they do. Here's the teleport. Glorious is in the wrong side of the jungle.
Vi gets over the wall with the Vault Breaker there, and Sivir actually kills Annie. Interesting conflict going on in that mid lane. Boomerang Blade actually secures the kill onto the mid laner of Michigan. So this dragon, not a big deal. If it goes over, only second dragon of the game. And of course, the only person going to have a say about that is Horus's.
Yeah, they want to get out.
Teleport comes in from Gino. He makes sure that this goes over to the squad, and that will be abided by. It's going to be smited down by Glorious to get the 3rd dragon of the game.
Oh no, Arden and Orsis have to be careful. They recognize that now. They have the dashes, but they're being chased at the moment. Orsis doesn't have flash, so if they're able to get onto him, Debonar does have ultimate as well. Spirit Rush could provide huge. They can get the top laner. That would be 2 down, but Maximus is back up, and they heed caution instead. They do have Vision of Glorious right now. Orsis wants to reignite this. They want to re-engage here.
That's Glacial Prison. That's going to be the jungler getting in range
Huge
as well.
knockup.
Cyclone Axe on 2. Arden following this up. They delete the Wukong. Turning it back around. Teleport going to be procced here. That's going to be Gino joining the fray. Orsis went a little bit too far. Arctur's Soul safety going to be deleted by this Sivir. Mr. Dot doing a lot of fight in these team fights. A lot of damage, I should say, and that Baron's going to be enticing UCI. They win the skirmish. They're looking to secure that objective.
Yeah, and there's nothing that Michigan can do about that because they have no front line. The concern of Glorious and Debonar blowing up any member of this team is huge right here. They're actually going for it a little bit late, and it's falling low. They're not going to get it.
Gets the kill on to the Blitzcrank. Baron going to be secure, so that's 1 member down. 4 members still strong with the Baron, and that's what's going to matter in this case. They're all going to get the backs off, and the reset will happen. That gold lead still within range, 5,000 in favor of UCI.
Michigan have a way back into this, but it's quickly fading away. That Baron, so incredibly important for that gold graph. Maximos does blow up Tina-chan Lover at the end, but it's a consolation prize. There's nothing behind it. As we get into a quick pause, back into game action. Every single member of their team ready to go, ready for war. Camoed up from the boots to the hat. It needs to be a war for both of these teams. The jokes that I normally throw out are gone. It is crunch time, Lom, and both of these teams know the necessity, know how important this is for their playoff hopes. Do or die.
25 minutes into the game, and UCI still piloting this series. They're already 1 to the good. They need 1 more in this best of 3 to put the sword to University of Michigan, and they're looking to do that here. Now they got that Baron power play is going to be online for them. Can they get it done though? Because University of Michigan, they're putting up a fight here. It's a staple that the Sejani was doing well very early on, but achieved that double-digit power spike. Can they make him our Orsis going to go forward? Of course he is.
Oh no.
He's not even phased by this one. Rocket Grab going to go into the Sejani. Cyclone going to be
Maximus.
burned as well. That's going to be the kill. Onto the Vi. They get a shot down. Gino
Gino.
is here.
Gino.
All out. Cyclone going to be activated again
Oh,
by
no,
Duo.
no.
Fights on 3 fronts right now. They get the Zeri. They get the AD carry. That's going to be cleaned up by Mr. Don Maximus. Father to a murdered son. Doesn't matter in this case. Maximus Aurelius going to go down in flames. He's not going to get any revenge here. And that's going to be the ace going over at UCI.
UCI get the ace of dreams right there. There was always a stipulation in every single fight they were winning. They were losing members. They were losing objectives, but this one they get clean. Only lose Glorious, but I don't think they're concerned about this. And with the timers going down, with the timers so long up, I don't think they have the way for it. I think they have to be happy with this inhib. Michigan Esports, a team we've grown to love in the Divine League, a team that has won before, have pushed us to the brink in past seasons. They've known success. They've been so close every single year. But this time, the #1 seed, it might be March Madness, but they do not want to fall early on, falling to the lower bracket. They're fighting for their tournament lives right now, and Michigan just don't have any answers. Arden cannot get blown up in these team fights. Needs to stay alive. The Zeri, not a single kill to their name.
2-1 had enough, pulled the trigger on it, Mr. Dot. Warrior
Got him.
Trickster flash forward. That's a crushing blow. That's going to be a blow to the Silver. Will die to Debonair. Gets one back, gets the shutdown onto the Wukong. More gold going to happen there. That's going to be Maximus. Or the Sejani joining us here. That's going to be Fighter Traps coming out. Doesn't root Rob. It's going to heal there. Timber's going to come out as well. Gino taking the 1v2, and it's going to be spaced out by Oris. Gloria is going to fall there. The jungler.
This is good.
UCI,
this is good.
The coin flip. Michigan showing fight in this game, showing heart. Walking back. Hina-chan still going to go forward. It's going to get rooted up by the permafrost potentially. One more turret shot. Oris lives with a shield from Yumi. University of Michigan, they say not today. They're not ready to go home without a fight.
They are like a bad pimple on prom night. They just will not go away no matter what you do. No matter how angry you are, you got a big date, you want to impress your crush, it doesn't matter because they are resilient. They push down deep. They find what the little they have left in their team, and they're going for it. But can they get this dragon? They need to keep Arden alive. They see Debonair. Hina-chan Lover wants to find something here, and they're corralled themselves away. It's a 4v4. 4v5 at the moment.
Action is coming. Rocket grab lands on the Sejani, not a big deal. That's going to be claimed by the Wukong. Evens up the Dragons. Oris has been chased out here. Hina-chan Lover goes straight on to the most target pirate. That's going to be Annie going down there. They get the Sejani 2 double kill over Debonair. The Dragon, but at what cost right now? Do one. Warrior Trickster is safety. Glorious and Hina-chan Lover. Super Minions driving into that top lane. They have to defend.
They have to defend. They lost a turret there for it. Mid lane's getting pushed in. 20 seconds on Oris's and Maximos. They need to defend this lane. They need to keep Arden alive. Needs to try to find a way to destroy this lane. Another inhib's going to fall. They're being whittled away. They're being chipped down. Gino in the bot side. Glory's going to join his countrymen. Ensure that this bot tower falls. And UCI, it's a slow burn right now, but they're burning all the way. Making sure that these Wolverines, they're being declawed.
10,300. Declawing is legal, by the way. Let me tell you where I'm from.
Really?
Do not declaw animals.
Okay.
It's not okay.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
I thought you said legal. All right.
No. Hell no. Oh, hell no. Not legal. Oh, hell no. Give these Michiganders their claws back. They still got a way back into this game, but it's going to prove very hard to get back into this one fire. We're sub 10,000 goal lead for the side of UCI. They've never put a foot wrong. This Ari, Debonair, definitely standing out here as well. But Mr. Dot, 3 items, 4 items to the good right now. This Silver
they see Oris, they see Duwan. Oh, he missed him. He missed Duwan. Oh, that could have been huge. That could have been huge for UCI if they were able to get Duwan. That would have been a 4v5. I'm sure they could have bursted him down. Instead, they don't. And now it's a 5v5. They're trying to go in into Glorious. They're in an uncomfortable position. They find a hook.
They have to pull the trigger right now. First chapter goes out. They get Arden. That's going to be the lightning crash going down. Can the Zeri survive? Yes, he can for now. The Cassandra going to go down. Cyclone peeling them off. Mr. Dot taking the 1v1 against Oris. Is going to get the kill there. Going to be returned by the Annie. Maximus gets that one to down on the side of UCI. A brief moment of respite for the side of University of Michigan.
Look at their base, though. Okay, so the Andy's gonna back. Maximus is gonna back, and they're gonna leave it on to Duwan, Soma, and
That turret's
Arden right
gone.
here. I'm not sure if they can do this. They're gonna keep an eye on to Baron, but with all of these minions, Maximus is just barely able to do this. They have to be concerned about a back door now. They see Arden here. They have no vision in the jungle. Arden needs to be so careful. He's dancing on a knife's edge. One charm, one knockup, one hook is all it's gonna take.
He missed it. Four goes, do one. Stack
gets
shield,
Hito
gonna go
He's
out as
hurt.
well.
He gets
Blitzcrank
hurt.
really focused. This gonna go on the AD carry right now. That's gonna be peeled back by Debonair. Stace is gonna be activated from Do One. Telbert gonna come in. That's gonna be Gino. That's going to be the clone. Wukong only going down there. Orcs is going to re-engage this one as well, trying to get the back off as Blitzcrank. Following up. That's going to be the Vault Breaker to defense from Gloria. Still following up again. Orcs is spacing out the team. They're going to leave Gino to the Wolves. Going to get interrupted again. Lightning Crash goes down. This is Zeri. Oh, Zeri taking over the team fight right now. Final chapter goes down. Mr. Dog hits the stasis. Debonair has to flee. Mr. Dog gets the kill. Wukong gets the triple right now. But the Nexus under threat. Debonair with the back door. Can the Ari get it? The channels of bags are being gone through. Your quadra kill for the Wukong. Spirit Rush comes out. Debonair has to hightail it. He can end the game. And University of Michigan, they're still alive.
They're still alive. I can't believe it. Debonair was so close at the very end there. He just didn't have the damage. He couldn't get it down. And now they're looking towards Baron. They're just pushing Maximus off to the base. That's teleport down from Debonair, and they want to go for a Baron. Michigan is back into this game, but they have to be concerned about this base. They need to allow their inhibitors to come back up. They recognize it, but this Baron buff will help so much. It'll boost up these minions. I can't believe they're still fighting this game back and forth. Counterpunch to counterpunch. Tic-tac-toe. I have no clue who's gonna win
they get
this.
the Baron. They got
They
it.
get it too. But here comes the Hex Gates.
They're cut off. They're cut off. Arden's in trouble here. Interrupted by Kusante. Nazeri gets over the wall. Styline cease and desist. Secures the kill. Shutdown over in the Silver. It might not mar. They can brute force here. They got the Zeri Yumi. 3 members remain of University of Michigan. You have to accept that this might be time is out.
This time might be up. The clock might strike midnight right here. They're just going for damage onto the Nexus, onto the base. Duan has to do everything he can here to knock them up for the kill.
Oh, they get Vi. Okay, Duan gonna get the Guardian Angel.
No way.
He's gonna come back. University of Michigan putting down the stands.
No way.
Glacial Prison misses. Oris is still walking. Maximus Aurelius, father to a Martin's son. He's still here. Hina-chan has to get the hell out of there. He's gonna be the next to fall. Surely, Permafrost, Blitzcrank, dead. University of Michigan, still alive.
Santa Maria, they find a way. They keep their base alive. They do not allow them in a 3v5 from hell. Keep everyone up. They fight for their tournament lives. Michigan Esports, resilient, fighting tooth and nail, scratching the eyes, throwing dirt in the face. They're fighting dirty. They're doing everything they can, and they're finding a way. They're so close to the gold lead right now, Lum. They fought back from the brink of defeat in Game 2. Unbelievable.
Throw out that gold lead. University of Michigan stand tall. Michigan fans, are you not entertained? You have to be. This is a Colossus of the ages. They get the gold lead for the first time in this game here, Bonfire.
I can't believe they were able to defend
I was capping.
there.
They don't anymore. I was capping.
Okay, you were capping. It doesn't matter though, Lam. It does not matter. The gold lead means diddly squat. That's what the gold lead means. I cannot believe that they fought that 3v5 in their own base. Even if they lose this series, even if they lose this game, you have to tip your cap to Michigan, where another team, a worse team, would write this one off. Michigan continues to fight, but horses might get chunked out right here.
Oh, face dishing. This is the Shijani. It's not a bad idea. Okay, you'll get away from that one for now. Follow the attempt of the Fnatic Death Brush. Doesn't come out. But Debonair in that bot lane, they're just looking at pushing these waves. Try and get a little bit of pressure. We got 3 minutes on that Baron. We got just over 3 1/4. 3 3/4, I should say, on that next dragon. That'll be Seoul. For the side of University of Michigan, that's going to be a big one if they are to get it. Remember, Hextech Soul in this game will suit well with any composition. The Zeri still yet to get a kill in this game, Bonfire.
I can't believe that I wasn't
Oh my
looking there.
God.
That's crazy. I gotta say though, you cannot look at KDA and say that Arden's having a bad game. The damage that Arden is pushing out is unbelievable. And now here comes the push like you were talking about, because at the end of the day, there's no Nexus turrets and there's still an open inhib. So if anybody on Michigan Esports get caught out, if they overpush a single wave, a backdoor is still possible. And Debinar did so much damage to the Nexus that it very much is in the cards. So there still needs to be concern for the side of Michigan Esports. They are very fortunate that it is 3 minutes until this Dragon, because they want to fight for it. They want it so badly. You know, it's the soul. Of course they want it, but they can't do it right now. But as that very nice woman just said, inhibitors coming back up soon, and that is their opportunity. That is their window where they can push up just a little bit more and start regaining their jungle a little bit, because at the moment, every single brush is looking scary.
Well, that very nice woman. She's right. And the gold lead means absolutely nothing. 4 items strong on this Annie. She's deleting. She's got Medjai's in inventory as well. A pause? Hello? 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 No pause. We can't pause here. There's no pausing, but Bonfire, this gives us a chance to catch our breath.
Yeah, I almost didn't want the cameras to take me because I probably look disheveled. I look crazy. I'm screaming this entire game. I apologize if I've broken anybody's eardrums. I apologize to you, Lam. You have to hear me scream, but it's just unbelievable the resilience that Michigan has right now.
It is, and it goes to credit the character of this squad. And it looks like we're going to be on pause momentarily soon as well. Traditional Riot Free is going to come through, and University of Michigan, this is their final. They have to put it out right now. This Wukong is so accelerated. The GA is about to come back up for Duan. You can make those plays, but how much do you have to commit? We got 2.25 on that Dragon. That will be so secured for University of Michigan out of nowhere, by the way, Bonfire. For the majority of this game, they haven't looked that great, but the kills don't mean a damn thing when the gold lead is still this close.
Yeah, no, the gold lead is on a knife's edge. I honestly cannot remember anything from the early game. I genuinely have no knowledge. I kind of remember Oris is doing some crazy stuff, but I feel like my memory's been wiped because all I can remember are these crazy team fights. Unbelievable stuff. So they get the inhib back. I almost need to reassess myself with that break. I need to remember where everything is. So they got the inhibs back. Dragon's up in 1:45. They look towards the side of UCI, and they're trying to regain the bot jungle. But on the other side of things, Michigan's getting the top jungle. So they're not going to face each other just yet. But now they might be facing off. But keep an eye on Debinar now. Look at how far up he's pushed. He might try to go for another backdoor here.
Oh, they don't see the Ari. They're bringing Mr. Dot over here as well. The backdoor of the century. They know they're playing around that Baron timer right now.
They're going for
yeah, they're
backdoor.
going for it. Okay, it's a combined group effort of the Expecty. The backs are coming in. Can they cancel it? It looks like they got several back. Can they stop the onslaught?
They can get it. They just get it.
Strong UCI just outmaneuver the squad at University of Michigan. They'll take this series 2-0.
Oh my goodness, it's a heartbreaker. Lam, my heart is breaking right now. University of Michigan, they played so well near the end of the game, and they just, all you need to do is let your mental slip up for just 1 second. That pause, it felt like right after that, there was a lot of quiet on the map, but they just let themselves get a little bit too comfortable, and I can see it in your face. That's it. I cannot believe it, but that is the end of the series, and Michigan Esports have been eliminated.
Oh, how anticlimactic can you get? They just said in order to end this game, we're just going to group as 4, force the inhibitor, they make it work. And look, they looked the better team, Bonfire. There's no getting away from that. UCI in the first game, they looked phenomenal. They had Mike Young in the team. They had really good AD carry. Look, it's one of those that even if you get away from it, that game went on too long. The objectives, they just weren't there from University of Michigan. The base was completely destroyed. They were open, ready for attack, and that's exactly what they did. UCI, they abide by that. They accept the invitation, and then they just end the game.
Yeah, we're not going to have a one seed upset today. UCI, they were the top team seeded in their bracket, and they're going to continue to do so and push themselves through the losers for Michigan. You throw the word heartbreak around a little bit too much. Not you specifically, but I think people do throw the word heartbreak around
I'm
a little
gonna do
bit
it
too
now.
much.
I'm gonna be the one that does it now. I'm gonna
You're
be
going to say it's a
throwing that
heartbreak.
around.
We
It's
got
a
all four of
heartbreak.
us.
Every single time. Yeah. Oh, baby, look at the squad
Oh
is
no.
here. Whether you're ready or not. Mr.
Right.
Silverman, Mr.
gonna-
Golferino, welcome to the analyst slash caster desk slash you're here right now, so
No,
you
no.
have to be ready for this one. Look, guys, we're going to start with Mr. Golferino. Anticlimactic end to the game, but ultimately, UCI, they looked the better team.
Yeah, I mean, you Mitch, they had that dog in them, but just wasn't enough in the end, sadly. As when your base is wide open like that, all it takes is just some sneaky little guys coming on in and you know, finishing that one on off. Extremely anticlimactic to say the least, but UCI a little struggling towards the end there. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie, but they're able to take the 2 out.
That game was just pure chaos. I mean, I was
At least
talking
the
to
latter.
Golferino. We were trying to figure out how we're gonna set up these replays. I still think we're gonna run replays. Hopefully, because there was just so much craziness in that game. But I put in my career casting Divine, that might have been the craziest game I've ever seen from the Divine League, because it was just complete back and forth. It felt like every time UCI tried to make a pick, towards the top side, they got, the top side pick came from Michigan. You'd see response in the bottom side. Early game, they just were going blow for blow. But it really all mounted around this 18-minute, this first real fight we have come along in Bonfire. I know you can take us through this one with ease.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you, Slayer. Yeah, this fight
Hey,
was
what about me?
unbelievable. And this is Oris's. You be careful, Lom. This is my moment. This is my moment to talk about how Oris has played like a psychopath this game. They get that first kill, but all psychopaths must recognize their demise, and Oris has recognized that he might have been overpushed a little bit too far. And yeah, he took his teammate along for the ride too, and he's going to lose his life as well. And this felt like the game story for much of it. Oris's over pushing, and the rest of his team following along and just kind of hanging on to his coattails, saying, "Hold on, Sedge, we might need you in better positions." Loses his life alongside his AD carry. It was a 3-for-1 at the end of the day, and that kind of felt like what the early to mid game was. But as we got to the later game, things definitely changed.
I just thought I want to step that off because that was, the other storyline that really played out, Lom, was, the mission for UCI. It was get Arden. If you can get Arden, you can kill Arden, you could win those fights. And that was the first time, really, in a team fight scenario, that they got on top of Arden. They were able to bait in. They trade out one of their teammates to make sure they get on top of Arden. And nearly every time they were able to get a hook, a charm, something on top of Arden, UCI were able to win the fights.
Wow, I was so sad for the Zeri. No kills in this game. That's heartbreaking. Bonfire said it best. Looked really good from a certain standpoint. I mean, multiple fights and the lightning crash goes off, and then it just happened like that. It lightened and then it crashed. And then Arden was not there anymore. And then you have to look to individuals like Glorious, the Vi, making things happen. Cease and desist held on to the very last minute. That's only reserved for Zeri. And every single time it was occupied by the AD carrier University of Michigan.
Okay, to Arden's credit, there were at least a good amount of fights towards the end. They're able to get like a lot of damage on off, but they're just not able to finish that kill. I think we can see an example of that in this next replay. I forget what exactly happens in this one since it's just so damn chaotic, this game.
Yeah, so this one is UCI coming up huge with their first real fight. This is their first ace, and it's once again, what Bonfire kind of alluded to. Orsis is trying to activate, but they're able to sort of pick him off. They bait Duwan in as well. And they are able to first jump on top of this Vi, but you can see here, this is the real big factor. Gino with that Cassante gets on the back line, and here's the big play. Still has all out. Whoop, you're coming with me, Arden, dropping him in the middle of his team. They blow him up, and that's just ropes for the team fight. Everything that University of Michigan put together, even that amazing triple stun for Maximus doesn't matter because Arden dropped off too early.
Yeah, and look at Orses as well. Just trying to somehow find a kill onto Mr. Todd at the end. So close, but
Oh,
loses his
please.
life for it. I know, it hurts me too, Lam.
Oh,
We're connected, we're entwined, and we both feel pain
I
at the
love
same
you.
time. I love you too.
Okay, thank you.
Where do we go from that?
I don't know. I don't
We're
know how
over
to
to
go.
Leo
I mean, there's
Silverman.
definitely
That's
a
where
lot
we're
of things out
going.
from that clip if you want an obvious transition. You can also just make awkward conversation to the next replay, but it really does show, like, UCI, they were on top of Michigan. They did not go quietly into the night, to say at the very least. I don't know if we have the late game replays ready for Michigan, like, defending their base on, like, 3 or 4 separate occasions, but Michigan definitely got that dog in them because of that Wolverine mascot.
Well, it's unfortunate as well because Michigan, for the whole aspect of
Oh,
this game, they had it all to play for. This play in particular,
How does Arden not
Mr.
die?
Silverman, this was phenomenal. They look like they turned it around, and then UCI,
damage.
they just have so much.
I just
How
don't.
did-
How did Arden live? I don't know. He gets hooked into 3. He blows flash shield. The Yumi heal is all but enough. You see on the off screen that Mr. Dot nearly picks up a double. And then Bonfire, this was just the definition of a clown fiesta
yeah.
here playing out
Yeah,
from this point on.
the Benny Hill music is in full effect. I was gonna say, how did Arden not get that kill onto Gino? I don't know how the Yumi got it, but just da 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 da. This is insane. They're dancing around, and Hina Chan Lover gets another hook. And again, Arden, it's like, oh boy, you have so much CC onto you, but he's so good at dancing between these fights. Gets himself out of there as well, and then Lam. The end of this goes just about as crazy as the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, Debonair was phenomenal in this whole game, in this whole series, actually. Look how well they peel the Sejani here as well. They eventually leave Gino alone. He still manages to get out for a brief moment, and then the Zeri pops lightning crash. You think it's still going their way. The ability to actually dictate these team fights doesn't give them the negative aspect that you think it's going to happen. They're still relatively healthy here. They win this team fight. But again, UCI, they delay it so well, and this is where Ari tries to backdoor it here, Mr. Leo.
Oh my god. I just, if he had a little bit more health, could play around with it. I know he later buys a Sheen to try and get those auto attacks go for Reno, but man, what a call to go for that teleport, just coming up so short, but certainly a call nonetheless.
Certainly a call. And they're so damn close too, but sadly the minion wave's just not quite there and autoing the Nexus. I think a lot of the minions work kind of hard focusing other minions.
Go
and
for
the
Reno.
fact
I
is,
would have ended the game there. Let me be honest. My building path would have been completely different. University of Michigan. Look, hey, look. If you're looking to sign somebody up, baby. Actually, no.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa,
whoa,
whoa,
tampering,
whoa, whoa. We're
tampering,
selling out.
tampering.
We're selling
Well,
out.
this
We're
leads into
selling
the
out.
3v5 defense. Because
Yeah,
keep in mind,
this-
they grab this Baron, but then their bot lane dies.
I don't know what this back from Arden is. So he sees that they're coming on the Hex Gates. Like, I guess the logic is I'm gonna try and rush the Baron empowered recall.
Look how
He
close
gets,
it is. Oh,
he gets
my
pretty
goodness.
close, but
It is
he gets
close.
dropped by Gino and he takes the cat with him. But
Look at the
you think
dash,
that's
too.
you gotta think that's the game, Bonfire, but this is far from the game. The greatest defense in Divine League history on the cards.
Yeah, I
Oh.
could not believe that they found a way to stop this. I actually want to rewatch this because I have no clue how it starts. I was just screaming out of my mind. So Glorious flashes
Yeah,
on
that's
the
a half-life
backside to try to
Nexus,
get the
dude.
damage onto the Nexus. But yeah, just gets blown up. And then how about Duwon, kind of the MVP of this right here. And then
This is
go
insane.
for Reno. Go for Reno. I need you to break this down for me because I have no clue what happened.
I'm not exactly sure either, because that is a metric ton of burst coming out from Duwon's Wukong. And you have to remember, this entire time, there's a half-health Nexus, and the Nexus is, like, extremely squishy, but UCI just get their backline popped here, and then it's just a matter of the cards all falling down.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
Oh.
it's
Nice
insane on
Nexus,
so
kids.
many levels. Like, it's kind of flooring us all here on the desk. All 4 of us, massive brain analysts and casters, and even the
That's
fifth,
not my job.
Cat- well,
That's
Catty
not my
hasn't
job,
weighed in their
Gofrino.
opinion, but-
That's
Yeah.
why I'm so bamboozled, dude. Look, at the end of the day, I mean, it was really interesting how Debonair actually had the elixir and still didn't opt to try and end the game there, right?
Yeah.
Actually peel back to try and save the teammates, and that goes to show the spirit in UCI and what they have. They believe in what they have. And regardless, they ultimately knew that we will end this game. It doesn't matter what happens now. Okay, they foiled the Expecki attempt of multiple members, but
Ooh.
4 is better than 1. And when they ended that game, I mean, this chart is unbelievable here,
What?
Bonfire.
Shout outs to
What?
Orsies.
That is a bigger drop off than my dating life right there. That I
Oh,
was
I,
I was
Oh, how dare you, dude.
That's
I
looking
I,
like the
I
stock market right now, dude.
yeah.
the
Oh my
definition of peaks and valleys,
goodness.
gentlemen.
You
Yeah.
ever heard of
And
Bitcoin, dude?
oh god. All right, Lam's gonna try to sell us on everything. I expect
Absolutely
I
not. I'm
nobody in
broke.
Twitch should buy anything that Lam is selling.
Yo, chill.
I,
Chill.
I I was gonna say the one thing I want to say that is semi-serious is I do this for every team that loses. I want to give Michigan their roses. This is a team. I tried to do it during the cast, and then things went off the walls bananas. And I think we should all say something nice about Michigan. So I'll say Michigan. Thank you for coming out and playing in the Divine League. You're a veteran roster. We've seen you year in, year out. We appreciate you coming down. You showed us one of the best games I've ever seen of League of Legends. Full stop. Solo queue, professional league. That was unbelievable. We appreciate you coming down. I'm gonna throw it over to Slayer. Say something nice.
You pointed the wrong way, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, University of Michigan, for getting the hell out of the way. Let's go, UCI. Big sweep, baby.
Whoa.
This is why your vote didn't count when we're doing predictions. It's biased.
Listen, I love my
Oh,
brother too
goodness.
much. But no, Michigan, seriously, they put up a very, very good split. I mean, they were very close to topping their group at some points. Duwan is a rising star. I just think Duwan is the X factor on that team. He has been all season long, and he's the reason why the 3v5 defense worked. He had the biggest lead in the game over his counterpart. He was 5 items to 3.5 items, 13, 4, and like 17, in 7 in that game on Wukong. So got to give big credit to Duwan and University of Michigan. You know, it's tough because they were in the summer finals of Divine League like
Yeah.
6 months ago. They were game 5, 1 game away from taking down Team Ambition. I believe it was their Team
Was
Ambition
it
Power now.
Power?
It's
Yeah, I
the
think
same
Power.
roster. It wasn't
We
Power
don't
back
see
then.
the second part of that name, guys. Not on air. We do not. Team Ambition, take that wheel and keep cycling, dude. Because look, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that one. They're my notorious nemesis, and we've accepted that.
Okay.
All right. Well, how about you say something nice about University of Michigan? Because apparently
That's
that's
right.
what we're doing.
University of Michigan. Look, ultimately there has to be a winner. There has to be somebody who goes out on the back. But University of Michigan, you stood up in that second game. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The objectives went down. UCI just says they brute forced it. Otherwise, if that game goes on, maybe you guys have a chance. But you show glimpses in that whole series, and
He's
that's
getting
the most
choked up.
important part. That's right. You can't see the tears right now, but baby, I'm emotional as hell. I'm emotional. Emotional guy. It's okay to be emotional as a guy. It's okay. Bonfire. Okay.
Whoa, why are you singling me
I
out?
blame
Look,
Caddy for this entire
Bonfire
This is all Caddy's
went
fault.
crazy the whole time. It was a pleasure to cast that game, University of Michigan. I look forward to seeing you guys in action ahead in the future. But ultimately, you fall short, and we look forward to how UCI will do in the rest of the split.
All
Go
right,
for
go
Reno.
for Reno.
Yeah. And
Parting words.
so for Michigan,
GG.
you guys know the final speech at the end of Independence Day that the president gives?
Yes.
You guys kind of lived that one out, except there weren't aliens, it was UCI. Although
they
some people
lost.
consider Californians aliens, but
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, whoa.
I'm
I
from
mean, there are
California.
legit people. But that aside, I mean,
From
back
California.
to UCI here. Really great series from them, even if that game number 2 was a little bit dicey, to say the least, at quite a few periods of that game. But they were mostly in control that game, and really it didn't look like Michigan was going to be coming back in that one.
Well, we unfortunately have to part ways with University of Michigan. They drop out in the lower round 2. UCI Esports JV squad, they're moving on to the losers bracket finals. Still on the cusp of dropping out, but they'll have one more shot to punch their ticket to the grand finals. Oh no, actually they have 2 more gauntlet's to go through. Excuse me. They have to play 2 more series. But they're moving on to face the winner of Piggy Eats and Glacial Esports Black. So we'll see who matches up against this powerhouse. And honestly, in my case, fortunately, that's the end of the Divine League broadcast tonight because I'm scared if we stay on here as a quad box
Glacial
for
actually
any
won
longer.
yesterday.
I needed
so we
peace
already
so
know they're
bad,
facing
dude. Please end it, please, God.
So go for, so it is Glacial Esports
Sound like my
Black
mom.
Yeah,
that will play.
a little bit of a
UCI
group group
Esports.
chat.
This is the Divine League group chat personified. I hope you're
This
enjoying
is
it.
it.
So
Oh, I miss Crims.
I'm closing it out. This is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this very goofy but action-packed broadcast from all four of us. That is Bonfire. Down there is Alam, both killed on the broadcast. Go Farino, as always, is a pleasure to work with you as well. Caddy behind the scenes, I usually praise him, but I don't know if I want to praise him for putting all four of us on the camera at the same time with how chaotic
Yeah,
this
he's
has
been a
been.
little sassy tonight, not gonna lie.
A little bit sassy, a little bit.
Well,
If you're missing Divine League, I know it's a whole week before we come back for the playoff action. There's a bunch of Risen action all week long. We have the Draft League on Fridays. You have Pre-Made Unstoppable coming on Saturdays. LOM will be on Pre-Made Unstoppable playoffs on Sunday.
we have the Laminate League.
The okay. I don't know how to follow that up.
Yeah.
Make sure to tune in to all those broadcasts to see all the lovely talent at Risen. Stay strapped to the Twitter. Follow all the socials, all of that. It's been a pleasure. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week for some more Divine Playoffs action.